countdown begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually preserved for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times and don't mess up the cash flow. We live.
What up, guys? What up, guys? Raze back live again on this sad Friday late night. Man, a night in which the New York Knickerbockers just lost to the Indiana Pacers game 2 of the best of 7. And it is not looking good right now. It is not looking good for the New York Knickerbockers right now because it is going to be a long hill to climb. They are headed back to Indiana right now. Well, headed to Indiana for the first time in the series after falling 114 to 109 to Tyrese overrated Halliburton, in which his fellow players called him. He came out and proved tonight that maybe he's not so overrated. Man. It was an excellent game back and forth, but the Knicks fall short, and right now the Knicks they season is over. To be honest with you, I don't see them coming back down 0-2 after losing the first 2 games at home. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I know I said earlier in the earlier live stream that I think they're going to get swept, and you know what? I'm going to hold to that. I'm going to hold to that because of the emotions after that miracle comeback win in game 1 by the Pacers. The emotions that the Knicks have been going through after that game and following it up with another loss to the Pacers, I don't see them recovering. I think they're hanging tight with the Pacers in game 3 in the beginning, the first quarter, and then the Pacers will pull away, and then the Knicks. It seemed like after tonight, the Knicks' soul was just taken. I think the Pacers have just taken the Knicks' soul and their will to fight. I'm not saying the Knicks didn't fight tonight, because they did. It was a close game, back and forth, multiple lead changes. It was an excellent game, great entertaining game. But I feel that right now, after seeing the players walk off the court, the Knicks players, they looked dejected. Coach Tim Thibodeau was pissed off in the post-game press conference, you could tell. And the Knicks fans were on their hands, scared most of the night. They were scared because they never really got the feeling that the Knicks could pull away from the Pacers. And it seems like that Madison Square Garden crowd was nervous the whole night. They were nervous the whole freaking night. You can tell the tension was in the air. They had no real faith that the Knicks were going to hold on to a lead. I think the Knicks got up by like 7 or 9 points at one point in the first half, but nothing more than that. And you could tell the Knicks fans never really believed that the Knicks were going to hold on to that lead. Thus, that's why they were so nervous and so just like anxious the whole game. The whole game, you didn't see a lot of celebrating. They were clap when the Knicks would make a shot, but you could still feel and sense the nervousness. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like that's something I observed. But as far as the game, Josh Hart had only 6 points. Anunoby 16 points. Karl Anthony Towns had 20. I know he was on the bench for a pretty good time in the fourth quarter. I don't know exactly why he sat down so long. They started to do the hacker Robinson, but McBride 5 points, and Brunson led the Knicks with 36. Bridges added 20 also. And as far as the Pacers, once again, Sakim, 39 points. He kept the Pacers, scoring. He handled the scoring load in the first quarter, first half for the Pacers. Maybe if he was off, the Knicks could have pulled away from him, but Sakim, kept the Pacers in the game, and Halliburton, yeah, 14 points, but he had a couple of big buckets in the fourth quarter, but 14 points, and then TJ McConnell 10 points. But like I said, Sakem was the star of the night. Naismith added 12 points also. Like I said, the game was close. Now, here's the thing. I think the Knicks season is over right now. I mean, they got to play the games. They got to play them out. I think it's over. I don't see them coming back. And I'm going to hold to it. I think they're going to get swept. I think the Pacers are going to put their foot on their necks. And it'll be a close game 3. It'll be a close. The Knicks are trying to make a run. I could see the Knicks hanging with them in the first half. But you're just never going to get the feeling that the Knicks is going to win the game. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that this is coming to an end for the Knicks. It's been a great run. But, I knew it was just too good to be true. Too good to be true that the Knicks was going to be hosting a game 1 and 2 inside the NBA Finals. It can't happen anyway because OKC is looking like they're about to slap around Minnesota the next few games and advance to the finals. So OKC will have the home court advantage if they do make the NBA Finals against either the Knicks or the Pacers. It's looking like neither one of these teams to me can beat OKC, but like somebody told me just now, they said, well, it's all about matchups. You just never know until they play the games. It's going to be OKC first time there in the finals. So you just never know. Indiana been together for a minute, so but I don't know what y'all thinking. I'm thinking the Knicks season is pretty much done. They gave the fans of New York some great moments, a great NBA season that's unfortunately about to come to a unceremonious end, I believe, out there inside Indiana. I don't think they're coming back to New York, and it's unfortunate because the Knicks fans are passionate. Like they've been rowdy, and you can see as the Knicks fans were leaving Madison Square Garden, even they can tell that the end is near. You know what I'm saying? Last 2 nights, leaving the Garden at the losses, totally different than the Knicks fans leaving the Garden after wins. Normally, after wins, the Knicks fans are hopping off pole to pole, street lights, hopping on cars, jumping the rails, James Dolan out, the owner, giving away signed game basketballs to the fans, but you can tell right now, Knicks fans are dejected. Knicks fans have zero faith in the Knicks actually coming back and winning this series, guys. I'm sorry. Knicks fans didn't even have faith that they were going to win this game inside the Garden. If you guys look at that game, if you look and listen to the crowd, they had no faith that the Knicks were going to actually hold on and win that game. They had zero faith. I think the Knicks crowd was too quiet, to be honest with you. I think they were waiting for the Knicks to go on a big run, go up by like 10, 15, and then they get so, yeah, Knicks. I think they were just too nervous. It was sometimes, Knicks fans, sometimes the games are going to be close. It's going to be close. Still cheer, loud, raw. Like, you guys were just way too quiet at times. The game was only like 3, 4, 5 point game swings. You know what I'm saying? It was back and forth, and you could just feel it. I was like, you fans are just quiet and too nervous. Hit that like button though, guys. Hit that like button. I'm gonna drop the link. Anybody want to come up? Do y'all guys believe the Knicks season is over? Said Miles Turner added 16 points for Indiana. Naismith, like I said, 12 points, 7 rebounds. And I'm not here to kill the Knicks at all because even though I'm saying it's over, I think they played a great game, both games. So I don't think the Knicks embarrassed themselves at all tonight. I think it was just 2 evenly matched teams. And the Pacers are finding ways to pull out these games. Knicks had a chance at the end of tie. I think that Brunson's shot, he rushed that shot with 7 seconds left on the clock to try to tie the game with the 3. That was a bad shot. It was like a Steph Curry type shot, and that's not Brunson's game. He can hit a 3. He can hit threes. He can hit them, but that was out of his range. He's not Steph Curry, and it was 7 seconds in the clock. I think it was rushed. I think he could have got up a few feet further. Maybe look for Towns. You know, Towns is a former 3-point shooting contest winner also. So I think that was just a rush shot. But like I said, I can't kill Brunson. I can't kill him. You know, he played great, big shots. He just missed that one, the biggest, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's hard to really because when he claimed it, I was like, he missed, but I wasn't mad at him. I can't get mad at Brunson. I can't. I mean, he made some great shots. He's more of an inside player, you know what I'm saying? Mid-range guy. But that shot was forced. That was just a forced bad shot. That was awful. God awful. But yeah, what are y'all looking at? Knicks, it's over for the Knicks. That's the stat line right there. We said Anunoby, 16 points. Like I said, Karl Anthony Towns, 20. Mikal Bridges, 20. Brunson led the way, 35. But it's the Pacers right there. It's just bad. It's just bad right now because and I feel kind of bad for the Knicks fans, even though so a lot of the fans sometimes they go overboard with they madness. When they leave in the garden, like I said, getting into fights with other teams' fans and stuff. But Knicks fans are passionate, and I was enjoying this run. I have been enjoying this run. Watching this and seeing how electric the city is and supporting the Knicks. But sadly, I think it's about to come to an end. Credit to the Pacers. They took the game. They took the last game, and they took this tonight's game. They took first game. They took it. They grabbed it from the Knicks. This one could have went either way too. This one could have went either way too. The Knicks, they played well. Knicks played well. So like I said, I can't come out here and just totally destroy the Knicks because they played well. Just the better team won tonight on this night. Now you could say they played so closely together. The teams are matched up. Knicks have a shot to win a game 3 in Indiana, in theory. But the thing is, what makes me think that Indiana just gonna collapse in a game 3 at home now in Indiana. I can see the game being tight, but what leads me to think that Indiana will blow a lead in the fourth quarter in Indiana. Why should I believe the Knicks would actually pull out a close game in Indiana when they couldn't pull out 2 close games in New York in front of their home crowd? Now I know they do say they do say the Knicks play better on the road than at home for some reason, than inside the Garden. So maybe that'll come into play, But really, I'll be shocked if the Knicks win two games in Indiana. I'll be shocked if Indiana allows them to win 2 games. I think Indiana smells blood in the water, and I think they're gonna go for the kill. It's gonna be their first time in the finals in about, I think, since Reggie Miller played, actually, with Larry Bird was coaching them. So, and once again, Reggie Miller, he was rooting hard for the Knicks. Reggie Miller was rooting hard, not the Knicks. Reggie Miller was rooting hard for the Pacers the whole time. You could tell he was kind of like almost coaching. He was coaching every time the Pacers would make a mistake. He would try to correct them over the broadcast and say what they're doing wrong every time. You know what I'm saying? So that was hilarious. You know, that was hilarious. Yeah. That, yeah. But like I said, I think he adds something to the things like WWE heel announcer versus the face announcer. Shout out to you guys. Hit the like button, guys. Black Phoenix Mars in the building. Salute Black Phoenix Mars. How you doing? He says Raze back live again. You said Knicks are trash, Cornell. No, I mean, I can't say they're trash at all. I can't say they're trash. I think these games could have went either way. You know, these games could have went either way, Cornell. You know, but they're not trash. Knicks are not trash. I wouldn't say that. Like if they would have got blown out both games, or got blown out tonight after losing that that tough game in game 1 in overtime, I could say they quit. But I don't even think they're gonna quit game 3. What I think is gonna happen is gonna stay. They're gonna be close, but I just think they're gonna pull it out. Pace is gonna pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they're coming back to New York. I think game 4, they'll probably just mail it in. You know what I'm saying? I do feel that they are dejected, though, after losing both games at home. Because I said before the game, I said, look, if the Knicks can't win this game when after losing that first game and the Garden is going to be rocking, you seen all the celebrities paying thousands of dollars for those front row tickets, you know, everybody there. And if I expected the Knicks to win tonight. I expected to come on this live and the Knicks be tied 1-1. But since that didn't happen, now I've lost all faith in the Knicks actually bringing it back to the Garden. I've lost all faith. If you can't beat the Pacers when you need this win, you had the lead for a little bit. Game was close the whole time. You can't pull this out in the Garden when you need it. I don't see you pulling out a game 3 in Indiana. All the pressure is going to be on the Knicks to pull out a close game. The Pacers are going to be playing with house money if the game is close in the fourth quarter. Pacers lose, they still up 2-1. Knicks lose, they down 3-0. No team has ever come back, 3-0 in the NBA in the playoffs. Unfortunate, but it is what it is, guys. Hit the like button. Indiana is balling hard, says Strill Life. Yeah, Indiana's balling hard. They're balling hard, and I gotta tip my cap to them for even the first game when they came back 14 points down with under 3 minutes left. Indiana is taking these games. They are taking the hearts out of the New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? They are coming into the Garden. They are playing to the crowd. And they're not intimidated, and they are taking it to the Knicks. They're taking it to them. Now, the Knicks are not cowering or backing down, but they are just not pulling out these games. And Where's Milano was in the building. Salute, Where's Milano? How you doing? How you doing, Milano? New York fans at the bodega buying beer. Yeah, well, I've seen some fans at the bodega outside, outside of bodega, talk about the game, talk about the loss. They're pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's New York for you, though. That's New York. They got the 40 ounce. You know what I'm saying? Valentine Ale. Discussing Brunson taking that ill-advised 3, but he could have waited. Now I'm not telling Brunson to wait to 1 second left because you're down. So you got to give yourself time to grab a rebound, right? But I just think 7 seconds left, and you was that far away. I don't mind him shooting that 7 seconds left at all, but he was just so far. That was a Steph Curry distance 3, and I had zero faith that was going in, and it just clunked. It just clanked. You know what I'm saying? It just clanked. Now, like I said, I can't really bring myself to really get on Brunson like that. You know what I'm saying? It was a mistake, but if it would have went in, we would have said, "Oh, what a great shot!" Right? I didn't like it when they left his hand. I didn't like the distance. He's not Steph Curry. He's not Dame. Damian Lillard, that's not his thing to launch, nearly half court threes and sink them. You know what I'm saying? That's not him. That's not his game. Now Miller was saying, like I said, Miller was trying to coach the Pacers. He was coaching me like, should the Pacers foul or should the Pacers foul and send them to the line? I was like, nope. By now, these announcers should know that that's a bad strategy to foul the other team when you're up by 3. Things could go wrong with that. The guy trying to foul, if you're up by 3 and you try to foul the other team with like 10 seconds or 7 seconds left, maybe the offensive players start their 3-point motion and make a 4-point play, a la Larry Johnson back in the day, 1999. So I'm surprised Miller was asking that question. See, Miller was coaching. He was coaching. He was trying to make sure Indiana won that game. Like, should they foul? Should they foul and send the Knicks to the line? Don't do that. It's backfired on a few teams already. It's backfired on the Knicks. The last game. It's just been backfired. It backfired on the Cavs also. You fouling guys when you're up by 3. What's going to happen if they make both free throws? Now you're putting pressure on your team to make both free throws again. Now, if you split, guess what? Now you're only up by 2 points, and they could come back and hit a 3 and beat you. I'd rather just keep it. If they hit the 3, I'm not going to foul. If they make it, if we get it more time on the clock, we come back and make a shot to go to end the game or go to overtime. Or if they make it and send the game into overtime with a 3, so be it. We just play overtime. Because now, if I'm the coach, I am not sending my players to foul. And now the player makes 2 points at the line. Now we only up by 1. Now I got to hope my players don't choke at the line themselves. Now I'm putting pressure on my own team to make a free throw, and it's not guaranteed. So I need those announcers to stop that nonsense. Stop saying it. I don't like it anyway because it takes away from the drama of the game. I like to see the team have to put up the 3 to either tie the game or not. If they miss, game over. They make it overtime. Don't take away from the drama and the suspense by fouling, and it makes it'll make it kind of like it's not you taking away the excitement of the game. Even though, like I said, if you still putting pressure on your own team to make a free throw. So I guess you could still say that's kind of exciting, but I'd rather them just play it out straight without fouling. But like I said, I think the Knicks is done. I don't think they're coming back to the Garden. Unfortunately, guys. Like I said, I'm not going to say Knicks are trash at all. Trevor Squad is in the building. He says, I'd rather see OKC take it than the Pacers. They a bunch of douches. Oh, man. Well, Knicks fans, if the Knicks do lose, would you go ahead and root for the Indiana Pacers to win? You could say, well, we lost, but we lost to the champions. Or do you now you get to the point where you hate Indiana so bad you just don't want to see them? I would think you would want to keep the champions in the East. You have Boston. You have Indiana. If they were to win it all, still far away from that. I think OKC going to take it, to be honest with you. But I don't know. OKC could choke inside the finals. They've never been there. So let me see. I'm thinking I'd rather just lose to the eventual champions because it'll make our division look better, look stronger. It'll make the East stronger to have the back-to-back champions come from the East. And you could be like, well, yeah, the Knicks, they got eliminated a couple of years by the Pacers, but the Pacers were championship material. So that's how you're going to rationalize it. I mean, that's how I would. They lost to the best. They lost to the champions. If it makes you feel better, historically. And then it'll give you something to prove. So each time you play the Pacers next year, you be like, all right, this is a big game. This is a big game. You know, we're gonna have a rematch against them in the playoffs. We're gonna try to take out the champions in the playoffs. You know. So if I'm a Knicks fan, I'll be rooting for the Indiana Pacers to just win it all. If they beat me. Hit that like button though. LeBron first ring. Donnell Williams says. No, LeBron, they team came. Well, you mean LeBron? They didn't come back from 3-0. They came back from 3-1 with the Heat. And that was with the Cavs. It was 3-1. But I don't think no NBA team has ever come back from 3-0 in the playoffs. Now, in baseball, MLB, and hockey, it's happened with, of course, the Boston Red Sox against the Yankees. You know. But it's never happened in the NBA. Team coming back from 3-0. Unless it happened in the 1800s sometime, you know, when basketball was first invented, maybe you know, one of those type of series back then. I don't. OKC went to the finals before and lost to the Heat. Yes, they went to the finals before and lost to the Heat. That was Westbrook, Durant, Harden was there. I'm talking about this OKC team, this bunch. They haven't been there. They don't have any experience. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I love his game. You know, like I said, he reminds me of Penny Hardaway in his prime. I just don't. They've never been there. This bunch, this group, that's what I mean. This group of OKC never been there. So there's no guarantee they're gonna win. Now they almost won 70 games, but we had a 70-win Golden State Warriors team. They choked the 3-1 lead to LeBron's Cavs. I mean, not to LeBron's to the Cavs. Yep. They choked that away. So no guarantee that OKC gonna win, but they look the strongest right now, but you know, things could change in the series about matchups, you know what I'm saying? Right? So I don't even want to mention injuries. I don't even want to say somebody might get hurt because I pray that nobody gets hurt in this series with the Knicks and Pacers, and I pray nobody gets hurt in the Western Conference Finals, and nobody gets hurt in the NBA Finals. You know, I pray no star player gets hurt. Let's just have a actual winner with all the stars on the court, mano a mano. Let's put it out there. Let's play it. And hopefully we will have a legit winner. I don't want to hear nothing about Halliburton had a torn kneecap and that's why, you know, they lost and this and that, because it just throws it throws cold water on the other team's victory. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the Toronto Raptors won, you know, and they beat the Warriors when both Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, you know, had to exit the finals because of injuries. It kind of threw cold water. Now, people don't really mention that much anymore, but I mean, I do. I mention it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't think the Raptors was going to beat that Durant team. I don't think they was going to pull that out. Until the injuries happen. But hit that like button, guys. Like I said, I believe the Knicks season is over, guys. It's over. It has come to a crashing halt. Like I said, they're going to play out game 3. They're going to show up. They're going to play. But I think right now, they don't even believe they can beat the Pacers. I think they feel they match up with them. But I feel that, man, they probably thinking, man, this team is just as clutch as us. Because the Pacers had a bunch of close games and clutch moments. Tyrese Halliburton himself, actually. So they probably feeling like, man, this team, we match up with them. We pretty even, but this team is just as clutch as our guy, clutch player of the year, Brunson. You know what I'm saying? They got some clutch players on their team too. So I think that's just like, and the Knicks haven't played bad. They played great too. So it's like, man, we played great. We haven't played bad. It's not like we could say, well, we could come out and play better. We could make our shots. You've played great, and you still lost 2 games. That has to be mentally draining. You know what I'm saying? It makes you tired. It's like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. You know, for the Knicks to have a real, they're going to have to be up like 15 points in the fourth quarter. Going into that fourth quarter, they're going to have, in the third game, for them to have any confidence, they're gonna hold that lead and pull that game out. They're going to have to mentally be up by like 15 points going into that fourth quarter. They got to. They got to be. For mental purposes, you know what I'm saying? Mike B says OKC in finals before against the Heat, right? Yeah, they were in. Yeah, like I said, this crop of OKC with Shea Gilgeous, Alexander wasn't in the finals, but of course Westbrook and them guys were in. Siakam, yeah. What I was saying, Siakam, right? Yeah, Siakam, Pascal Siakam, Siakam. Yes, Apollo. He had himself a game. He earned his paycheck. You know, now I think he probably was a little overpaid. You know, I thought he was going to stay with the Toronto Raptors for a while, but Siakam, yeah, he earned his paycheck tonight. 39 points, came out aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like Charles Barkley was saying, it looked like some of the other Pacers was like, well, we got game 1, we good, but Siakam wanted this one. Siakam wanted to take game 2. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the Pacers won because of Pascal Siakam tonight. Otto Brunson was great, but shot less than 50%. Siakam was a machine who picked up Halliburton's slack, shooting 65% from the field. Yes, Otto. And like I said, he earned his paycheck tonight. Siakam did. You know, Donnell Williams says Knicks are cooked. Yeah, it's looking like they could. They would shock me if they get this back to. They're not going to win a series, and to be honest with you, they would shock me if they come back to New York. Or if really Indiana allow them to come back to New York. If Indiana allows that to happen, you know. I gotta tip my hat to Indiana. I mean, it's more about Indiana winning the series than what the Knicks choked away, because I gained some respect for the Pacers. I don't really watch them much at all in the regular season at all. Unless they're playing the Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets. I don't watch the Pacers. But, you know, they've earned my respect, you know. They took it to the number 1 seed, the Cavs. Took it right to them. You know, and the Cavs had a great season. Now, I know Darius Garland was out, which did not with these injuries still. See, I hate to say that. That's why I hate these NBA players getting injured. So I hate to give a team credit for beating the team and then bring up an injury to a major player. You know what I'm saying? It's making it seem like I'm not giving the team as much credit as they deserve for winning, but I gotta look at the injuries too. That's why I hate these star players. Curry, God, don't even get me started. I hate player injuries. I hate them, for the love of God. I hate these injuries. I'm just praying nobody gets hurt. I seen Brunson, somebody stepped on his ankle. He was wincing a bit. I was like, well, you know, please don't talk about you got swelling on your ankle and missed game 3 and this nonsense. I hate player injuries. I hate it with a passion. Because y'all got to remember, the NBA is a star-driven league. That's what they keep saying. That's what they've been saying for the past, 15 years, right? The NBA is a star-driven league. And when your stars are not playing inside the major games or even the regular season games, it's a knock. It's a hit. People are like, oh, but Raze. You still getting a good basketball game. It was still a close game. I don't care. It's a star-driven league. I am here to watch the LeBrons, the Currys, the KDs, The new guys, Anthony Edwards, who was supposed to be the next face of the league. He's about to throw that out the window. I want to see the guys that are making the big bucks. But really, everybody makes big bucks now in the NBA. But I don't want to see backups. I don't care. I can go to Lincoln Terrace Park in Brooklyn. I can go to any park out here and see a nice, good game, from just random people, on the court, just playing hard. And, I can see a close game. I want to see NBA stars play in this star-driven league. You can't tell me it's a star-driven league more than the other leagues, the NFL and Major League Baseball. But then be like, Raze, why you keep complaining because of LeBron James is out, which he don't really be out much. But a Curry missed 3 straight games. I'm pissed off he missed those 3 straight games in the playoffs. Like that's the testament to I want to see these stars play. John Morant, I want to see them play. It takes away from the entertainment value. I don't care if it's a close game. If they're not playing, then it's like, okay, 2 teams playing. I can see that in any park. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see the best of the best play. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I even started watching some of the Indiana Fever, because of Caitlin Clark. She's nice. She can play. You know what I'm saying? So I if she's not playing in the game, I'm not watching that. But Razor, it was a close game between Indiana Fever and the Mystics. It was a close game. I don't care. I'm not watching that. If no Caitlin Clark, she ain't playing. I ain't watching. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, guys. We'll see. We'll see on Sunday if the Knicks can pull that out. I think I'll go live during the game, and I'll cover the live. I'll cover the game while I'm on live. That'll be a change for the channel. I think I do that. Now I can't show the game because I get hit with copyright strikes on YouTube. But we can drink some beers, eat some pizza together while we watch Game 3. And Game 3 is gonna be Sunday night. I'm rooting for the Knicks to win. I want to be wrong. I really do want to be wrong because I want this NBA season to continue to go. I think, like I said earlier, the NBA wants the New York Knicks in their finals. They don't want no Indiana market in the finals. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be Indiana versus OKC. They do not want that. Adam Silver is praying the Knicks pull out Game 3. He is praying the Knicks. He better give out some orders to the refs. Like, hey, refs, you better keep the Knicks close. Keep the Knicks close, refs. We need that New York market. The fans are rabid. They're a little crazy, but we need the New York market to be in play for our NBA finals. You know what I'm saying? We need that market. So, hey, refs, you gotta, a little, what's that, Tim Donaghy action? You gotta get some Tim Donaghy action going on, you know what I'm saying? The Triple OG, what up, bro? New York, lost again. Yeah. Thank you for that, $2. The thing is, it's over now, bro. Now I'm gonna watch Game 3. I'm gonna hope they win. Like I said, the NBA is hoping the Knicks win to keep the market, alive, the New York market alive, because you can't rely on the Indiana market, too small. You know what I'm saying? It's just on this question, why IRL and not StreamYard? Well, technically this is StreamYard. I'm just like IRL in it. You know what I'm saying? Since I'm talking some Knicks basketball, Pacers, you know what I'm saying? It's not travel. So that's why I decided to go ahead and IRL it. Really vertical it. It's different. Because it goes to a different crowd. You know what I'm saying? So once it ends, you can have a bigger crowd that come through, check it out. Anybody that's interested in the NBA or Knicks games, Zed, if I would have did it the other way and not vertical, then it'd just be my normal like travel crowd. This way in vertical, you can get people to the channel. You know, they come through, check it out, say, who the hell is this guy with his muscles, his glasses, his poster? Yeah, check it out for a few minutes and then leave. But the channel is getting discovered by sports fans. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put it in vertical. You know, so I'm just following the trends of on YouTube, Zed. That's why I do this with when I'm talking sports or whatever, or something that's not really travel related. Or sometimes I be outside and just like I don't even feel like setting up StreamYard or whatever. So I just go live to the YouTube and just so it just depends. But it's more discoverability to the audience I want to reach. Since I'm reaching the sports audience talking about the Knicks. Now some of my people, you know, in my travel space, they like sports too. Let me see. Paycam Center and OKC shakes. Yeah, and that crowd don't sit until the OKC Thunder make a shot. And they've been doing that since Westbrook was playing there. You know what I'm saying? Big Milano in the building says Black Phoenix Mars. Raze, you're going to review hashtag Stream Run University. What's that? Streamer University? What's that? What's Streamer University? The Garden seems to be the place where they either create stars or the stars' have career games there. It's always been like that, yes. The Garden is a place where a lot of these other team stars come to the Garden and always say they love playing in the Garden because they like the electricity of the crowd. They like silence in the crowd. I think they get a kick out of it, you know. So yeah, these stars always come to the Garden and have career games at the Garden. You know what I'm saying? You know, and they know they on Broadway. They know they're getting in front of that New York media, you know, and you know New York media hypes up even more stuff. So if you beat the Knicks and you the star, you get more press. It seems like you get more hype by beating the Knicks for whatever reason, because of the media, the size of the media. You get to be on WWE programming like Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I'm saying? So you get other doors open up to you in the entertainment industry. Dwayne says, yeah, it's over. Yeah, over. The Knicks played more games than New York Chicks. I don't think so. I don't think you can play more games than New York Chicks, Milano. Trust me, I dealt with a lot of New York Chicks. I don't think you can play more games than New York Chicks. That's kind of impossible. That foul he committed with the missed inbound pass was crucial. Yeah, when he grabbed on the jersey, maybe, you know, there was a play when they almost threw the ball away. They was down by 1, and he grabbed the jersey. Now, maybe he couldn't catch the ball because of the grab of the jersey. Maybe if he didn't grab the jersey, maybe he would have been able to get to the ball, and the ball went out of bounds, Travel Squad. You know. Rondo says, series is over. Yeah, it's over. Now, it's just a matter of will they bring it back to the Garden, down like 3-1. I don't think they will. I think they're going to lose game 3. I'm going to root for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to root for the Knicks to win game 3. I'm going to be watching. Like I said, I'll probably go live during the game. But I see them losing game 3. I'm going to just be honest. You know, I got to call it like I see it. You know what I'm saying? They were dejected. They were, you know, you see Brunson walking off the court with his head down. You know, I think they feel that they are giving Indiana their best punch and they still are losing. That is one of the worst feelings you can have as an athlete when you know you're giving your best and you keep losing. It's not like you in a slump. It's not like you could say, well, man, we suck. We sucked these first 2 games. We played horribly. we haven't been ourselves. No, y'all played great, and you still lost. You still down 0-2. And so you might be thinking in your head now we are bound to have a bad game one of these times. What's going to happen when we have a bad game, an awful shooting game? You jinxed them, Raze, says Mike Deasy. Hey, listen. I think the Mayor Adams jinxed them by putting their names on street signs. You know what I'm saying? They Mayor Adams did this, not me. Mayor Adams, he got the Knicks players' names on street signs, and you know what I'm saying? Around Manhattan. He did that, not me. I'm just an observer, drinking and watching. I think he brought in the curse, because that first game, that was like an act of God coming in and saving the Pacers. There was something spiritual about that game and paranormal about that game. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's him. I think Mayor Adams should have waited until they actually made the finals to start doing that. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody getting caught up in the excitement. Woo, and I am too. But you let them get to the finals first before you do the streets thing. Because you had that. Now you had to add more pressure. Now you just automatically adding more pressure on the players too by doing that too. 25 years since the last time they've been in the finals. It's about to be 26 because it's sad because they're so close, Ken. They're so close, and so close, but yet so far, it seems. In my opinion. Now, you guys might feel differently. You know what I'm saying? But I feel that the series is over. You know what I'm saying? Definitely it's over. It's just a matter of them coming back to the Garden. You know what I'm saying? All odd teams in the finals this year. I like it. All odd teams. Yeah, it's fresh and it's new. It's fresh and it's new. Now, these are not home. These are not like these names that's going to be in the finals, even though Shea won the MVP. These are not going to be names that are mainstream names yet. Eventually, if they keep going back to the finals, they will be. So the rating's going to take a hit, but it is what it is. You can't really worry about that. Well, Silver can. Silver could send them some good people to ref that get the next game for the Knicks. Make sure they win game 3. But because like I said, they want you can't tell me that the NBA execs don't want that hype of New York media inside the finals. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, for the Indiana fans, it's great for them, and for OKC fans, it's great for them. They're gonna love the finals. They're gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch. So it is what it is. Thank you for the $2. Once again, the triple OG. Highly appreciate you. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, guys. I think the Knicks is finished. It's over for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? They're not coming back to win the series, unfortunately. We'll see if they can stretch it out, though. We'll see if they can stretch it out, get it to like a game 6, at least. I thought it was going to be going games to 7, but I never expected the Knicks to lose both games at home. I just never did. Basketball haven't been around that long. When did Naismith invent basketball? It wasn't around in the 1800s. I thought he invented it around. All right. Well, I don't. When did he invent them? You know, baseball was around in the 1800s. Maybe NBA, maybe basketball wasn't that around that long ago. When was NBA, when was basketball invented? You think the Knicks is gonna steal two in Indiana? Interesting, Brian G. So Brian G has faith inside the Knicks. He said they're gonna steal. That's what that's what it's gonna take. They're gonna have to steal. That'll be highway robbery. If the Knicks could win two, that'll be highway robbery if they can steal two in Indiana. It'd be highway robbery. Because I don't see the Knicks blowing them away. To be honest with you, in Indiana, they would have to steal it like a thief in the night, you know, and make Raze look like an idiot for predicting they're gonna get swept at right now. You know what I'm saying? Because right now I think they're gonna get swept. All right, I'm rooting for them to come back in 3-1, but I think they're gonna get swept. But hey, I'll be happy to be wrong if they are able to steal too, because that's what it's gonna take. A master thief, you know what I'm saying? A master pickpocketer for the Knicks to win two inside Indiana. To steal. Yes, steal is the right word. Knicks are booty meat. No, like I said, I can't. Like I said, even tonight, I can't destroy. I'm saying they're about to get swept, but I can't destroy them. I'm giving more credit to the Pacers than I am destroying the Knicks. You know, sometimes you just gotta tip your hat to the other team. You know what I'm saying? Because the Knicks showed they showed themselves well. I'm disappointed in the Knicks fans because the Knicks fans were scared to death the whole game in the Garden. They had no faith in their team that the team would win. They were quiet, they were scared, they were nervous the whole time. Well, I guess you could say that shows that the Knicks fans really care. I guess that they would be so nervous. They care so much in that Garden that they are nervous that the Knicks are in jeopardy of going down 0-2, and they couldn't concentrate. They couldn't cheer. They didn't have the big enough lead in the game by 15 to 20 points to be able to rock out and cheer, like they really wanted to, because they were so nervous that their beloved Knicks were still in jeopardy of losing because it was so close, and they could not concentrate on cheering and being crazy loud like they normally would. You know what I'm saying? So you can look at it that way too. But the Knicks fans were quiet in that Garden. Knicks not ready for the big stage, says Ken Padmore. Halliburton had a sore throat. So Halliburton had a sore throat. Seemed like I was catching a sore throat also, Travis Squad. I don't know. I was catching a little sore throat also. Pacer in 4 Raze is going to be okay, though. So Caesar Blue 5 says Pacer in 4. And I tip my hat to him. Knicks ain't been hot in 50 years. I know Rello happy. Rello got to be happy that the Pacers are might be going to the finals. See from Gary, Indiana. It's not over yet. It ain't over till it's over, right, Alonzo? But the thing is, I can see the writing on the wall. You know what I'm saying? I got 4 eyes. I can see the writing on the wall, and it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's over. Now, I'll watch and I'll root, but it's over. I mean, I'm not, I'm not trying to give people false hope and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's over. It's over. They now if the first 2 games was in Indiana and they lost, then I won't be saying it because they have 2 more games. You're gonna force Indiana to have to beat you in New York. You know, you have 2 more games in the next 2 games in New York, but they just took 2 straight in New York. The Knicks not gonna come back and win that series, barring the injury. And I hate to bring up the injuries. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got basic cable, Ken. Only Rasho Nastarovich and Slavo Medvedevko can save the Knicks season. Rajo Nastrovich. That's the guy Stephen A. Smith used to make fun of. Delta, New York choked against Ice Tray. Y'all did that fireman that got tickets dirty. The fans hit him with trash after the game. Go Indiana. Yeah, and that guy is getting sent to Indiana courtesy of Tyrese Halliburton. He's flying him out to the game. The guy that got hit with the trash. That's what I'm saying. The Knicks fans have been they've been wilding after these games, the games that they win. But when they lose, they exit out of the garden quiet and as peaceful as church mice. You know what I'm saying? But when they win, they be talking a lot of smack and they be hopping on poles and hopping on stop lights in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Acting a fool. So it's Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde with the Knicks fans. Those reactions were crazy, hysterical. If you go to Instagram, you look at the reactions when when the game finished, when Tyrese, hit the 2-pointer that they thought it was a 3. They went to overtime. Just, but like I said, once again, I'm going to say this rivalry is good for the NBA. I'm glad there's some level of gamesmanship, some level of, I guess, at least, it seems like the Knicks fans are getting to the point where they hate this version of the Indiana Pacers, just like the 90s version of the Reggie Miller's version. And I think that's healthy for the NBA. Because at least it shows that the players care. If they're making a crazy amount of money that can, feed their generations of family, the next few lines of generations of family, as long as they don't, do some stupid investments or overspend. And for them to still go at it against each other and argue on the court, at this point, I don't mind a fight. Let them fight because I want to see that these players care. You know what I'm saying? Even though they make us millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. Let them fight. Them chopped cheese is slowing your boy Cat down. Yeah, Cat, he didn't have his best game tonight. He didn't have his best game. Carl Anthony Towns, he didn't have his best game. He was there. He just didn't have his best game. But the game was there for the taking for the Knicks. It was there. They could have won. It just Indiana was better in the fourth quarter again. They were better in the fourth quarter again. They are just as clutch. They are proven to be just as clutch as Brunson. So Halliburton didn't have a monster game, but he hit a couple of big shots in the fourth quarter. He made a couple of nice drives to the hole and pass outs also. So he was doing some things that sometimes some stuff is intangible. Some players have an intangible also. They don't have to lead the team with scoring for that night, but their presence, and if they can pass out, draw the double team and pass out to the wide open shooter, that's an intangible. Jason Kidd was like that. Jason Kidd wasn't the best scorer in his prime, but he was the best player a lot of nights on the floor, scoring only 10 points. But he controlled pace of the game. He was the best, especially when he played in the Nets, the New Jersey Nets, when they went to back-to-back finals. He was the best player. He should have won the MVP one of those years. Best player on the floor with only like 12 points, but he would have like 20 assists and like 15 rebounds. Control pace of the game. He was the identity of the New Jersey Nets. So some players have an intangible. Chauncey Billups was another player that had intangibles, make you have poise. So some players just have that, you know, and especially in the big moments. The moment doesn't get too big for them. It doesn't seem too big. They slow things down. They don't rush, you know. So that's what I'm learning about the Pacers and Halliburton, you know, specifically. But we'll be back covering game the next game. Well, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the Knicks win, pull it out. The drought continues for New York City. They have not won anything besides the Yankees, LOL. But the Giants, well, yeah, but I said the Giants in 2012. Blame Fat Joe and that statue y'all got in Times Square. Oh, man. You talk about the statue of the lady, of the girl? Oh, man. Polo Styles. What? White Cat was benched in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Somebody mentioned it to me. I was thinking maybe he had foul trouble and they just didn't get him back in. He came back in at the very end, though. Maybe he was just tired. I don't know. Maybe he was tired. He's like, Coach, I'm tired. I'm tired, Coach. I need some Gatorade. Let me sit down for a couple of minutes. And just the coach just forgot to put him back in. I don't know why he sat down so long. Because they did start the hacker Mitch Robinson. He split a couple of pairs, but they was trying to start that like they did the Hacker Shack back in the day. It was trying to start that hacker Mitch Robinson. But hit the like button, guys. Anybody new to the channel, we will be discussing the Knicks stories over the next few days, NBA on the channel. And this is fun. This is fun. Let me see. Last 4 years, LA has won the NBA championship and the Major League Baseball championship. I hate it for you guys, but the fans in New York, not all did that Fireman City dirty. Oh, yeah, I read that. What am I talking about? I read that. I just read that. Instead of the Polo Styles, two small markets. Yeah, two small markets. NBA is not rooting for two, but they can't, unless they send the refs in to fix the games, they can't really do nothing. You know what I'm saying about that. But Indiana is basketball country Raze. It is, you know, and shout out to Bob Knight, rest in peace to him. But the thing is, it's just it's not big enough. It doesn't have the media. It doesn't have the population of a New York City, New York State for ratings and, you know, and interest. Not enough people hate Indiana for them to be like, all right, I want to watch this final to see Indiana lose. The Knicks, yes, a lot of the country hate the Knicks, hate New York teams. They'll watch to see the New York Knicks lose, so that'll spike the rating. You get a lot of Knicks fans that's transplanted around the country, you know, because they used to live in New York and they grew up Knicks fans, and now they living in Florida or other places, and they'll watch to see the Knicks win. So you're gonna get and then of course you got the huge New York market anyway that's gonna be watching. So that's just the way it is. That's why in the election, that's why they have the electoral college the way it is, to prevent the big cities from, having a huge advantage and a huge say in who becomes the next president. That's why they added the electoral college, because they don't want the big cities to have a Just yeah, y'all guys know, with the popular vote and this and that. That's why they added the electoral college to prevent that. But the NBA wants that. They want that big city market to be in the finals. But you still have all those other teams, so you can't just have LA and New York in the finals every year, which you never get the Knicks in the finals. So, but it like I said, it would be nice for the Knicks to pull this out and make the finals first time in 25 years. It would be nice to see it, but it's just not gonna happen now. It's just not gonna happen. I'm gonna root for it to happen for the comeback, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks coach need to be fired. Now that's a bit much, Polo Styles. Who are you gonna replace him with? You want Doc Rivers? You want Doc Rivers to replace Tom Thibodeau? I think there should be some type of loyalty. You see how Milwaukee Bucks haven't did anything since they fired the coach that took them to the finals. You've seen Denver. They fired their coach that won the finals. I mean, it's like there's no loyalty anymore. I mean, I don't think who are you going to, maybe Tom Thibodeau is getting the best out of Brunson, the best out of Cat, the best out of his players. You know what I mean? Maybe they wouldn't even be in the East Finals without Thibodeau being the coach. So if you get rid of Tom Thibodeau, they might regress and have worse season next year. You know what I'm saying? Think about, man, why did we get rid of Tom Thibodeau? Tom Thibodeau has always been regarded as a high quality coach. Now we know, he's in Chicago, Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose got hurt. And they were going against the Heat when he wasn't hurt. They were going against the Heat, LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh. Come on, that's hard to beat. That's hard to beat that, So then Derrick Rose was having his injury problems. You can't be quick to fire your coach when the Knicks haven't won a thing in like 2 decades. Haven't been this relevant in like 2 decades. They had a couple of runs with Jerry Lin and Amari Mello, that one year. But you can't be too quick to. Beggars can't be choosers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you got something that's consistent and y'all been making the playoffs, making deep runs, just keep it. Keep it like that. Make your playoff runs. Have your team seem like they have a chance. You know what I'm saying? And keep Tom Thibodeau. Keep Tom Thibodeau. You don't have the gravitas to just be firing coaches like that. You haven't won the titles back to back, or ran off 3 to 5 titles in a decade for you to be wanting to fire coaches. You know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't understand when Milwaukee Bucks did that to their coach. And Denver. I didn't understand that either. Most overrated player voted by his peers been cooking in the playoffs. Yes, and I'm happy for him. And I respect him for that. Halliburton has been cooking in the playoffs. Most overrated player. Now, somebody did tell me, he did start off the season kind of, he was struggling. He didn't even make the All-Star game. So I can see, but, it's a redemption story. So maybe now he would be more consistent out, next year. He see that, hey, I can really be a top star in this league. He has the personality. He has the look, quote unquote, the look. So, pause, but I think he has a likability factor, Indiana can use it. Like I said, it's a small market. They can use it. I know his pops got into an argument with Giannis. So that was like he has a little crossover appeal. He can do media outside of the NBA. So he could be an ambassador for the NBA. So if he, yeah. So I think he's going to be fine. And I like this redemption angle after being voted by his peers in the NBA the most overrated. How you blow a 15-point lead multiple times? Hey, Boston blew 20-point leads multiple times to the Knicks. Because it's these threes. It's a 3-point shooting league now, and all these guys practice shooting threes. You know what I'm saying? These guys practice shooting threes like they're practicing shooting layups these days. So when you could shoot those threes at that clip, what happens is a 15-point lead can be erased in a matter of 3 minutes. And that's what happened with the Knicks the first game. And that's why I was kind of hesitant to say they choked, because homeboy hit 6 straight threes, and the Knicks, they were scoring. The Knicks didn't go cold. It wasn't like the Knicks went 0 for 6, 0 for 7 as homeboy was hitting, Nate Smith was hitting 5, 6 straight threes. They were scoring twos. So the Knicks were still, the Knicks were still scoring. They wasn't choking. They were scoring while the Pacers were hitting like 6 threes, 6, 7 threes in the last 4 minutes. That's 21 points right there. Or 28, matter of fact, no, what's that? 7 time. All right, 7 threes times 3, yeah, like 21 points. So those leads evaporate quick, especially if you're missing while they're hitting the threes. But the Knicks wasn't really even missing that much, you know, but that's how devastating those threes can be. That's why a lot of teams now are having a big man shoot threes. They want a team to shoot threes because they say threes are worth more than twos, obviously. So thank you for that donation. 100 Mexican pesos. Says Dawn, shout out to you. Appreciate you. Be pumping up. Hit that like button. Anybody new to the channel? We chilling. NWO. We chilling. We'll be back live on Sunday to cover the Knicks. Hopefully they win. Hopefully they make Raze look like a fool. You know, I'm saying they're gonna be down 3-0. But, you know, hopefully they pull it out. I would give the Knicks a lot of credit if they pull it out, because these last two losses have to be mentally draining on them. Mentally draining. And I would give them a lot of credit if they could win a game 3 on the road, hostile environment, Pacers smell blood in the water. If they could pull that out, I would give the Knicks a lot of credit. Now, I still think they will lose the series, even if they win game 3. But that's why I can't knock them. See, the Knicks, I can't knock them. I can't knock Brunson, the little engine that could. I seen his story about, you know, his pops, you know, and his pops used to play for the Knicks. I don't know. He used to play for, he didn't get a lot of time. He was on that team that went to the finals, actually, with Spreewell and them. He didn't get a lot of time, but I remember him. But, you know, but I just think, sadly, he's going to come to an end. I just hope they extend the series, give the New York City fans something to talk about, maybe push it to a game 6. Because they did have the better record than the Pacers. But the team, you could tell they're evenly matched. So no team is that much better than the other. So a missed shot here or there. A turnover here or there. Knicks could have been up 2-0. A couple of free throws made. Knicks could have been up 2-0. But just because the Knicks could have been up 2-0, that don't mean they're not going to get swept. That's the thing. Yeah, they could have been up 2-0, but they still, I think they're going to get swept now. Unfortunately. Because it's just the way the things fall. You know what I'm saying? It is the, you know, you know, you play with the cards that have been dealt to you. You know what I mean? And the Knicks, like, they had the Angels in the outfield screwing around with game 1, and the Pacers came back and won, screwed Knicks over. And now this game, Knicks had a shot, even though the crowd, and to be honest with you, I was disappointed in the crowd, but really, me and my friend that was watching the game, did I really have faith that the Knicks were going to win the whole time, even though I predicted them to win earlier on the earlier live? As I was watching the game, was I 100% confident? No, I was not 100% confident it was going to win as the game was playing out. But that don't mean you don't continue to cheer and root hard inside that garden. Be loud, root, cheer, because not every game is going to be a blowout. Knicks not going to blow out teams like that. So you have to keep the energy in that garden up. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep the intimidation of the opposing team up. You can't be like, oh man, Knicks is only up by 4. They're exchanging, back and forth the leads. It's sit in your hand and just be nervous the whole time. That does the Knicks no favor. You know what I mean? That does the Knicks no favor. But shout out to Dawn once again for that donation. Raise Travel Fund, because we be traveling over here this channel. Anybody new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I want to be wrong, guys. I want to be wrong. I want to see the Knicks pull it out. I want to see the Knicks. I wanted to see the Knicks go to the finals. I want to cover the finals. I want to cover the final. I want to cover the New York Knicks in the finals after like 25 years. I want to cover that. I want that in my life on the channel. I want this on this channel. I want to say New York Knicks in the finals, game 1. You know what I'm saying? Brunson, all-time Knick now. Surpassing Starks on Patrick Ewing's level. I ain't gonna put him over Ewing because he didn't win the title, but over Bernard King. I mean, you got to, because he went further, did more in the playoffs. I want to put him up there. I want to pull the trigger. Not Clyde, not past Clyde or Willis Reed, but I want that. I want that on the channel. I want the Knicks to pull this out. I really do. I just don't think they are. But you know what? At least give us a game 3 where you pull it out and you give the Knicks fans some kind of hope. I say it's false hope. You're just gonna prolong in the inevitable of the loss for the series. But you know what? Let's keep this thing going. I'm having fun. The Knicks have given New York a great ride and some stuff to talk about. And I see it walking around the city. I see it in Brooklyn, the bodegas, like we were saying. They play the game inside the bodegas, even the Latin bodegas. Latinos, they love baseball. They be having the Knicks game on. People outside the stores, gathered talking about, hey, the Knicks beat Boston. The Knicks is up 2-0, just ecstatic. So this city has been a buzz with Knicks basketball, and I want it to continue. I would hate for it to end. I want a game 7. I wanted to go to game 7. Kai Cenat started Stream University. Oh, I did hear something. So that's what you're on Twitch, using a college campus. The veteran streamers or professors, beginner streamers, or students who get graded on their streaming info. And they probably get to, okay, got you. All right, understand. I understand. I know what that is. I know what that is. You can't give it the Knicks like that. Well, thing is, like I said, I can see the writing on the wall, bro. I've seen a lot of NBA, and I can see the writing on the wall. If both teams stay healthy, yeah, the Knicks can win another game. Hell, they can win 2, but they just not gonna pull out those series. They just, they buried themselves too. Just like I said, if they lost the first 2 in Indiana, then I was like, nah, it's not over yet. But they just lost the first 2 at home. That's highly concerning for me. You know what I'm saying? Highly concerning for me. Yeah, it's over. They ain't winning in Indy. They're too deep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I gotta tell the truth. Gotta tell the truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? As a YouTube journalist, I gotta tell it like I see it. Now I could be wrong. But I gotta tell it like I see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't just want to be up here giving y'all guys false hope. I think they're done. Hello, Bree says they ain't no big dogs. LOL, Thunder, but Pacers, F no. Yeah, and like I said, that's going to be a pick 'em. Obviously, the OKC will be favored in that series because of their record. And the way they do play great defense also and make you look sloppy. Totally awesome says sweet, yeah. Yeah, it's over. They ain't winning. Indy, yeah. I think this is gonna be a sweep. Totally awesome. Unfortunately, I'm rooting against it, but I think it's gonna be a sweep. Just found out that Kai Cenat is Jamaica Trini. Yeah, he's from Jamaica. Jamaica/Trinidad. He's a combo. He's a mix. Tom Thibodeau needs to get this right. Boy, tweaking F up $600 payout. Yeah, you got screwed out of your $600, unfortunately. You know, so you blaming Tibbs. Coach Tom Thibodeau, for your $600 loss. Don't gamble, guys. Stay out the damn casinos too. Them casinos will screw you over. Them casinos are rigged. I know from experience. Trust me. You want to stay out of casinos. Them damn slot machines rigged against you. They're rigged against you. They give the old lady that's sitting right next to you, that's using her points card. They'll give her a big win, while they continue to take all your money on your machine. But the little old lady sitting next to you, she's constantly winning and hitting big, and you just looking, and you're not even getting $3 back after betting $2 or $3 per spin. It hurts. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. So stay out of the damn casino. Man, you know how much Ish Talking New York was ready to speak. Yeah, I admit that. I do admit that. And I've seen the videos over the past couple of weeks, and I was like, man, yo, y'all need to chill a bit, man. Y'all need to chill a bit. Even when the shot of Halliburton bounced off for game one, it bounced up. Knicks fans was turning to the cameras, ready to start bragging again and just talking a lot of and then it bounced in. And then they turned around and stunned disbelief. They were like, oh, it went in? But when it bounced off, they were like, I told you. And then they found out that it went in. They were like, they got quiet as church mice or mouses. Church mouses. And it was just like, you see, they were ready to start it up. Hopping on the poles, out in the streets, hopping on cars. Taunting the police. They were ready to start beating up people with Indiana Pacers jerseys on. They were ready to start. But once it went in, they had to calm it down. Once they lost in overtime, they left the Garden. They left the Manhattan area because there was a bunch of watch parties and Radio City Music Hall and other places out there. They left that area quiet as church mice. They didn't bother nobody. They just went home, I guess drank, and went to sleep. Hit that like button. I want to thank Will for the Cash App. Will, I sent you that information, that's $15. You guys send $15 if you need information on a hotel out there inside Punta Cana. Yes, friendly. I would glad you send you $1 back through the Cash App, and I will give you the name of the hotel. I will give you the name of the hotels, 2 hotels. I'll send you, guest friendly, and then all the action out there inside Punta Cana. So, Will, thank you for that. I got the information to you. No, Zed, we're going to continue the IRL, Zed. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue the IRLs. We're going to do the normal format also through StreamYard, Zed. So I got some guests coming up over the weekend. Talk some travel stuff in my normal format. But I like this. This is a nice mix, you know. I'm drinking some beers. We chopping it up. We're talking some Knicks basketball. Now, I know, Zed, you're probably not a fan of NBA and basketball, but, you know, we got some fans out here. Chet, Jalen Williams, people know their names. I know their names. I'm not saying people don't know Chet and Jalen Williams. I know their names. I know these people, but not everybody. You know, they're not household names. That's what I mean. But I know their names, you know. Some people have heard of them, but some people don't really know them and follow them. Hell, even Shea Gildress Alexander from Canada, he won the MVP. Now, I never watched the OKC. I never watched OKC Thunder during the season. As great as Shea Gildress Alexander is, I didn't care to watch. You know, sometimes it just happens like that. It just goes like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I mean, see, the way I got this, I don't know if anybody was trying to come on. If anybody was trying to come on and talk about the game, you could come up. With this format, with his vertical, I didn't know I had to actually click on a button to see if anybody's in the back. Normally, I could see it in the other format, in the portrait format. But I'm sorry if anybody was trying to come up and talk about the game tonight. Hit that link real quick before I get out of here. I got another beer, so you can come up and hit the link real quick. I made sure I check. I gotta click the button. See, I'm not used to doing this format on StreamYard. Let me see. My fault, guys. So if anybody was in the back, my bad. My fault. That's my fault. If you guys are trying to come up and discuss the game. And like I said, man, the Knicks, man, you know, the team itself, this Knicks team is a likable team. You know, this Knicks team, the players on the team is a likable team. You know, and I feel bad for Brunson that he jacked up that ill-advised 3 and that he missed it. I really felt bad for him. You know what I mean? He's a likable guy. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why I root for them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. But ill-advised 3. It was ill-advised, but you know I can't be mad at him, man. Like I said, these guys are likable. This is a likable team. It is a likable team, you know. Siakam got a ring already. He battle tested, yeah, with the Toronto. I wonder how good Rasho, Nesterovic, Slavo, yeah, into a Kwame Brown. Yeah, that's Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is get on him. Bo Riddle, the Knicks about to get swept. That's why I'm down, Bo Riddle. Mark Jackson could be the coach. Nah, there's no point. It's no point in doing that. Just stick with Tibbs. Stick with Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? Stick with the Tibbs, man. Knicks are troll. Troll Star says Knicks are trash Raze. They're not trash. They just losing. You know what I'm saying? If you say the Knicks are trash, that means everybody that got eliminated before the Knicks are trash. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're in the East Finals. I can't say they're trash. They could be up 2-0. They're not trash. They just lost. They lost to a highly skilled team that know how to close out games. The Knicks know how to close out games too, but they are finding out that Indiana knows how to close out games too. So it's a flip of the coin a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? I'm not betting $600 on it like somebody in the chat. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to lose $600 betting on the Knicks, but you know, I mean, you guys are into that. You know, who am I to talk? I go to the casino and lose money. So, you know, but I don't bet on sport. I bet I do the slots or whatever or roulette. You know what I mean? But I need to stop. I don't need to be doing that either. You know what I'm saying? That make me a skunt. I used to date a lady from Guyana. It makes me a skunt. That's all. She's like, Raze, you trying to make me a skunt? I still don't know what that means, really. You know, the casino, you go to the casino and lose. That casino makes Raze a skunt. Hit that like button, go. Yo, because like I said, we gonna be coming back live on Sunday. And you know, like I said, Mark Jackson is so far removed. So, you know, Adam Silver, listen, do whatever you can to rig it for the Knicks, because trust me, no one wants to see Pacers in the finals. Knicks going bring more ticket sales. Like I said, you know, he got to sit some good people down there in Indiana. You know, Tim Donaghy style, and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Raze looking for Bernard King to come out of the tunnel. I'm looking for Willis Reed. But it's not like I said, it's not like the Knicks haven't had some motivation. They haven't played bad at all. It's just that they just been losing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, I would like to come up here and say the Knicks sucked tonight. The Knicks, you know, was awful, got awful. I can't say it. They played well. They played good. They played good enough to win the game, and they just lost. So no real rhyme or reason, you know. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the other team, to the Pacers. Go New York, go New York, go. I love that. I used to love that commercial. And that in the Wiz commercial. Like I said, thank you for the super chat, Dawn. I appreciate you. Pops was finna go to get folded like one of them BB Low. Outlaw Josie, they still better go out fighting. You can't get swept. Yeah, they're going to try in the first half, but they're going to realize that, you know what, our best punch is not knocking this team out. This team keeps hanging around. And I believe that that's when they're just going to be like, they're like, you know what? I had enough. No mas. You know what I'm saying? No mas. Roberto Duran, no mas. It's like, you know, I'm throwing you my best punch, and it's still not working. I done lost 2 games at home already. What makes us think we're going to pull this game out? We only up by 1 or 2 points in the third, early third. Now we're down by 3. I just think mentally they're going to be digging back into at these 2 games at the Garden. Like, we just can't. We just not going to beat. We can hang with the team. We could beat them. We can beat them. But mentally, those 2 losses at the Garden is going to be killing them. You know what I mean? And it's going to kill them mentally. And I think they're just going to they're just not going to pull it out at the end. Because like I said, Indiana, they're going to be going for the kill. Indiana, I don't think is going to let the Knicks blow them out. It's going to be a close game going into that fourth quarter. Yeah, his pops played for the Knicks. Look at the roster in 1999, 2000. You would see that Brunson Pops played for the Knicks. He wasn't a star or nothing like that. Knicks play better on the road. They do play better on the road, so that's some hope for them. I'm going to be okay. Great. Hey, I'm okay. I'm drinking. I'm chilling. Grace, mercy, save. You know, I'm good. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. You know, I'm not beating people up for wearing other people's jerseys, other teams' jerseys and stuff like that. I'm good. You know, I'm just watching. I'm observing. I just want to see some good basketball, and I hope the Knicks can make the finals. But I'm not going to be going crazy and insane, you know what I'm saying? But some fans do. Some fans do be depressed for days. You know what I'm saying? This close to getting to the finals and not actually pulling it off. So, but I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm Gucci. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Got my Coors Light. Just chilling with you guys, drinking. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Raze. You know what I'm saying? I got my workout in. About to take another trip next week, closer to my birthday. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna go into this week, but it's closer to my birthday. My birthday is technically at the end of the month, so I'm chilling. I'm Gucci. You know, I wasn't gonna pay the $1,000 to get into the finals game anyway in the Garden. You know, I'm not paying that. I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take out a damn personal loan to go inside the Garden to see the game. That's another thing about the high ticket prices. Now you charge so much money for those tickets, you're not getting the loud, rowdy fans that don't give a look that would be sitting in those high price seats. Now you're getting the more sophisticated fans, not as rowdy. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a little downside too. That's probably why the Garden be so quiet. But you know what? But you know, I don't know, because it just seemed like the Garden crowd was so quiet because they were nervous that the game was so close. I think the Garden would have been rocking more if the Knicks was up like 15-20. Basically front running. Like if the Knicks was up 15-20 points, people been drinking, partying, cursing the Indiana Pacers players out, you know, celebrating. But when it was close, those fans were nervous and they didn't have that smoke like that. Now I did hear some chants, a little bit chants of overrated for Halliburton at one point during the fourth quarter when the Knicks did get up by like 5 or 6. I think Halliburton did something. He missed something. He a turnover. What he did? Something, a foul. Somebody, I forgot the thing, and they was chanting overrated. That's what they need more. They need more of those chants. You know, get into the heads of the Indiana Pacers if it does come back to the Garden. Because if it comes back to the Garden, you know, maybe get it into you're gonna have to throw some insults at the. I mean, I you know, in a respectful way, not curse them out, but like you could chant overrated and stuff like that. That's cool. Not throwing curse words and stuff around, you know, kids and stuff around. But you know, you could keep chanting overrated, try to get inside their head. Willis won 2 and was also MVP of both ships. Yeah, like I said, you know, it's gonna be hard to top Willis, but I mean, it's possible. Hit that like button, guys. I keep saying I'm going to check it back. I don't know if anybody was in the back. Was anybody in the back? Anybody in the back? You can come up for a few minutes. If not, I'm about to end this stream and call it a night. I'll be back. We got some travel stuff. We're going to be coming. Pause. Zed, we got some travel topics. I got some guests that I got coming on over the next couple of days in the travel side of the channel. But we will be going live either after the Knicks game on Sunday or during the Knicks game on Sunday. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do with that. Like I said, we are expanding the channel, so this is cool. I have fun doing this. It gives me something else to talk about besides travel stuff. So I love sports, you know, and I feel that we can have these conversations about these games and stuff, you know. Whether it's baseball, basketball, well, more so basketball, you know, with you guys in my sector but I can talk baseball with anybody also. But I think we'll continue this NBA talk definitely throughout the finals, and I think it'll be fun. We can talk NFL also, you know. I'm a big NFL fan also, so we'll see. Just play it by ear. I'm just having some fun. Diddy trial is going to start back on Tuesday, so we definitely going to cover that. Taking a trip over the next week. I don't know exactly where yet, but we still do all of this stuff from wherever I am in the world. You know what I'm saying? We still do. We just talk the NBA playoffs and finals if I am abroad. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I see somebody in the back right now. Let me see. The auto wheel is in the back.
Yerp. What to do?
Salute.
Salute. Yay. Did you get my reference? What I said earlier about Patrick Ewing being the Eddie Mush of the Knicks?
What's Eddie? No, I know you talk about Eddie Mush from where? From
The
what?
Bronx Tale.
The Bronx Tale. Now, which one was Eddie Mush? I seen the Bronx Tale. I love that movie. The Waste of Talent. Remember at the end, Lucky Luciano
yes,
came in and off the guy he was working for, the kid was working for.
I did not know that was Lucky.
Yeah, and they said, and the kid said he was a waste of talent. Because the guy saved the kid. He saved the kid at the beginning from the Molotov cocktail that hit the car they was in. He pulled them out.
Yes.
And said, yo, yeah. So I love that movie. Yeah.
Okay, so I could tell you about the character of Eddie Mush. Do you remember the horse racing scene when the main character C, when he grew up?
Yes.
And you remember like his horse was close to winning, right? But
yes.
then the Eddie Mush character also bet on that same horse, and that's when everybody walked off.
Okay, so that was Eddie Mush. I'm trying to think, and yeah, it was so long ago. But okay,
yes.
So
his name is Mush because everything he touches turns to mush.
Got you. Well, I was saying before the game, Patrick Ewing bet not guarantee a win for the Knicks, so that'll be the death nail.
That's why I said.
Yeah, his guarantee.
That's why I said he was the Eddie Mush of the Knicks.
Yeah,
he's the character that at the last minute came out, put the same bet on the same horse. The horse, was winning the race, but then eventually just didn't win. I forgot exactly what happened, if the horse collapsed or just didn't win, but it cost the main character C, it cost him money, it cost everyone else money because he bet on that same horse.
Yeah. And shout out to Jay Moss in the building. What up, Jay? What up, Jay Moss? How you doing, Jay Moss? I would say this. I would say Ewing, man. Ewing, he never had a real number two guy. And as much as we say LeBron needs the number two guy, John Starks was pretty much Ewing's number two guy. Which what I'm saying. If we look back, he had it like John Starks, and I love Starks, but he had heart, but.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Derek
not
Harper,
like Dwayne Wade or Anthony Davis is your number two guy,
Derek Harper.
No, that ain't it, bro. That's not.
Okay.
Derek Harper was cool. He used to play for the Mavericks. He's a stunt, but nah, that's not. That ain't it, bro.
Yeah, they were never really had a number. The closest number two that they had was when they traded Anthony Mason and got Larry Johnson. I would say he would be the closest number two.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Ewing got hurt that year. You know what I'm saying?
And he had to become number one.
Yeah.
And then when he became number one, he got hurt.
Exactly. What a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know. The Knicks have always, it's like, as I said earlier, they either create new stars or the established stars have career games. Even Jeremy Lin, when he came back and played against the Knicks, he had I think he had close to a career game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about the Garden that just does that. Kobe hit 81.
You're right.
Right. Kobe got 81, right?
Not at the Garden. That was
wasn't at the Garden.
Mavericks. I believe it was against the Mavericks. Was it against the Mavericks? I believe he either got 60 against the Mavericks in 3 quarters, or was it 81 against the Mavericks? I forgot exactly.
It was
against Dallas, but it could. Yeah.
Okay.
One of those games when he had 60 through 3 quarters and they sat him for the rest. Was it against the Mavericks? One of those epic games was it was against the Mavericks though.
Mm.
I'm not sure if it was the 81-point game or
You
the
know what? Yeah, you
the
might be
60
right.
quarters.
You might be right. You might be right.
Because the 60 through three quarters game, he would have had a couple of 80-point games in his career, but Phil Jackson sat him for the fourth quarter. I don't know
Yeah,
if you remember when he had 60 to three quarters.
yeah. I do. I do remember that. Phil Jackson. That's another coach that, man, he always finds himself at the right place at the right time. Like when you look at his coaching career, he's never had to build a team.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that? He's never had to. He's always been at the right place at the right time.
I would give him credit though because you have to give him some credit, Auto Will. I know what you're saying. I know. I really do. Believe me, I do. As great as Jordan was, though, I
Mm-hmm.
think Jordan needed some type of structure. I think that the triangle offense
Right.
helped Jordan stay in line. You know, because he took a lot of shots, and if any other coach in any other type of system, that probably would have led to 6 titles. Sometimes it takes a Zen master or somebody, and also with Shaq and Kobe, I think it takes somebody with that type of gravitas and system to keep people in line. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're right. He didn't build it. He didn't build it from scratch. He's not like Larry Brown. You know what I mean?
Right. Or
He's
even
not
Popovich.
taking. He's not that. You know what I'm saying? He's not that. But
Yeah.
what he is teams that really should be winning titles that's not winning. He'd be like, all right, I'll go there and we're gonna win with his system.
Yeah.
But go ahead and talk. Let me take a leap right quick. I'm gonna
Okay.
get to the Tim Howard super chat. Go ahead. Do you think the Knicks could come back and win this?
Yeah. I don't think they can win the series, but I don't think they're going to be down 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't. Rat Riley. Are you sure? Was that a sneak or was that a typo? You put down Rat Riley. Yeah, I don't know why I said it. I don't know why I said Kobe got 81 against the Knicks. That was a big time error. Yeah, that's a false. That's definitely fake. I don't know why I said that. Any great coach can win the exactly. Like Phil never had to acquire somebody. I don't even think he even acquired Dennis Rodman. I think it was who was the player that had to go get him? It was one of the players that went and got him. Who was it Jordan? I forgot. It might have been Jordan that went and got Rodman, but somebody from the team got Rodman on the Bulls. Oh, it was a typo. Tim, the mega moderator. Shout out.
What they said? Oh, the mega moderator, Tim Howard with the $5.
Well, at first he said rat. He said rat. Yeah, MJ. I thought so. Yeah. So that wasn't even Phil's move. So yeah, at first he said Rat Riley, but it was a typo. Right. He changed it to Pat Riley.
Yeah, they were mad. Well, Knicks fans were mad when Riley left for Miami the first time. You know what I'm saying? They were mad. They said that they called him a rat during that time when he resigned and left the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? That was a big story.
But people can say what they want. He builds teams.
Mm-hmm.
People can say, yeah. He is a team builder. Popovich is a team builder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who else. I'm not going to give Stan Van Gundy any credit because I wouldn't really call him. Yeah, he doesn't get any credit. Sorry. Who's another one? Larry Brown is definitely a team builder.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to give Doc Rivers any credit. I know he won a title with the Celtics. I just can't give him that credit because again, he did not build that team.
But they were a new combination of players, right? And they went to back-to-back finals, but they did. You give them a little credit because that can turn into a disaster. You know what I'm saying? Like the Brooklyn Nets, I think they should have kept their coach when they got Kyrie and Durant. They had a good thing going. They fired their coach. The same coach that won, that had the best record inside the Cleveland. They just lost, but that was the same Kenny Atkins, and they got rid of him for some stupid reason because of the players. And but let me read the super chat from Mega Moderator. Raze, didn't I tell you that the Knicks are trash and we are enjoying their failures? Question mark. The Knicks and their fans literally deserve this. Now, I can understand what you're saying, that the Knicks fans are obnoxious and they go overboard. So I can understand that you are happy to see the Knicks fans crying and walking out that garden sad and miserable. I understand that. I really do. I really do, Tim Howard. Thank you for the $5 donation. Raise Travel Fund. I really do. I understand where you're coming from. But I believe the Knicks players themselves, they are nice guys. I think the Knicks, I like this team. I like the Knicks players. I think they are easy to root for, the players. I understand that most of the country, you don't like Knicks fans, so a lot of the country is going to be rooting against the Knicks. I wouldn't say they're trash, though, because they are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they've been representing. But, yeah, but thank you for that. But go ahead, Will.
I also felt that they kind of did Jeremy Lin dirty too, but it's all good.
The organization, they didn't want to pay him.
Right,
they didn't want to pay him the big money that Toronto was willing to pay him. You know what I'm saying?
Was it Toronto or Houston?
Toronto. He went to Toronto first.
Oh, okay. But I also felt they didn't have the right coach. I felt that they kept D'Antoni, I think they would have went further than when they had I don't know his first name, but Woods.
Woodson.
Yeah.
It was they had Melo. They was invested in Melo.
Right.
That kind of killed when he came back. That kind of killed insanity. They still would have been okay. They would have been good because they still was playing well when Woodson came. Then Jeremy Lin got hurt. He was out for the rest of the season, so that killed that. You know what I'm saying? I think he was still playing well in a half court type system and not the running gun like D'Antoni had. Woodson was trying to, do more defense, which the Knicks did need. But I think it would have worked out. But unfortunately, the injuries. So injuries be killing sometimes the momentum. You know what I'm saying? That killed Jeremy Lin, and he couldn't play in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I felt like he was more of a system player where he had to be under like a D'Antoni system because they literally look like the Phoenix Suns of the old. The way they were playing.
You 100% right. But it would have been nice to see him continue with the season underneath Mike Woodson because he was playing well. If you go back to that, he was playing well. He was playing well. The Knicks were still playing well. They started playing well once they hired Mike Woodson. They fired D'Antoni, hired Mike Woodson, and Lin, he was fitting in the half court. Then something happened to his wrist. He fell on his wrist, and that was it. So we really didn't get to see if he could play in that half-court Mike Woodson defense stress system. I mean, I seen it for a few games, but he got hurt. So, I mean, he got nobody to blame but himself for that, for getting hurt, it is. But, D'Antoni's system was perfect for him as far as running that. I love watching that insanity little stretch, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, and I don't know why D'Antoni doesn't get the credit he deserves. And believe it or not, like Kobe Bryant growing up said that D'Antoni was his favorite European player when he lived in Italy. Like, I just don't understand. I think he's an underrated coach. I know some people say he's overrated, but I actually think he's quite good.
Well,
for what he has.
You know why? Because now they could say he probably the reason for all these threes, but really it's the Warriors. I think that and shout out to SMWH and Visual Hype in the building, Rudy T with Houston. Another coach that was a great coach, and not that with but shout out to Visual Hype. Red Auerbach mentioned. Yeah, I think that what we were saying that D'Antoni, he gets his props with the Steve Nash era, but let's be honest. And those teams are like Boston is now, but Boston has the defense. D'Antoni had zero care for the defensive side. It was embarrassing watching that. I mean, it was a layup line. Amari didn't even care about it. When he was here, he didn't care about playing no D. I'm like, what is this? Like, and when the Knicks used to play that thing, then defense, then defense. I'm like, no.
There was no defense. Yeah, Amari was just happy to have another Steve Nash. That's all he was.
I'm like, y'all not playing zero defense at all. Y'all not even trying. It's like, so don't even play that organ. Then it's supposed to be offense. Then offense. Y'all not even trying to play deep. So I was frustrated with D'Antoni with that. But like I said, I did enjoy the Jeremy Lin era. It was fun. It was mainstream. Everybody was picking up on it. I even seen Rush Limbaugh talking about Jeremy Lin. Like it was great time.
It was different. Even Spike Lee.
Back, I gotta admit, and I wanted the Knicks to get Melo. He came back and that ended.
It was terrible.
I mean, it ended, bro. It ended as quick as it started. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I don't understand because he had a couple of good games with him where they had chemistry. I don't know what happened after that. Like, I think he had at least 1 or 2 games with him where, they both did well. I don't know.
He said Jeremy Lin turned back into a pumpkin when he left New York. Like I said, he had the injury. He was outside the system, outside his comfort zone. Yeah, he was never, that good again.
Well, not quite, because when he had his homecoming.
Here and there when he went to Houston.
When he went to Houston and he had his homecoming game in the Garden, I think he had like close to 30 points or something. I don't remember, but he had a good game. And of course, he didn't have he had a mixed reaction. I don't know why he had a mixed reaction, because he took that team further than they've been in a long ass time. I don't remember when they were good. And Stephen A. Smith will remind you of that almost every day.
And I like I said, and I want to blame Carmelo coming back, but the thing is, I gotta remember, he did get D'Antoni fired, but they still were playing well once Woodson. They started playing defense. So really, even though I was happy with Lynn's sanity, I still knew that they wasn't going to go far because of the defense. They wasn't playing no defense at all. When Woodson took over, they started playing well. Melo was happy. Linsanity was fitting in. He was getting his points. It wasn't like the D'Antoni offense, of course. It wasn't that.
Yeah, but he wasn't getting the 20, 25 points.
But he was playing his role in scoring in clutch. He was kind of he reminded me of like a Tony Parker type play. So I was like, okay. But then he got hurt. So it's like that killed that. So I even never know what could have been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He got hurt at the wrong time.
A point guard. Melo is the type of guy that needs a point guard. They needed a point guard to run that offense for Melo as the main guy. You know what I'm saying? And once he got hurt, that was it. Knicks ain't have a shot.
Yeah, I knew they were fun to watch, but I knew they were not gonna go very far. Like, again, they reminded me of the old Suns and even a little bit of the old Sacramento Kings. So they kind of reminded me of those two. What's up?
The Don Nelson Mavericks too.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, but I felt like they were more closer to the Suns, and then
definitely the Suns.
And then a little bit like the Kings, because when they had Jason Williams, Chris Webber days and all that, so they kind of looked a little bit like
they played some defense though, bro.
The Kings,
Chris Webber, they tried to play some defense. That Sacramento Kings, remember they was going against heavyweights like the Lakers back then, so they had to play some defense. Mike Bibby and them guys, Bobby Jackson, they were trying to play some defense. Mike Tony's thing was absolutely just 7 seconds or left, jack up the shots, and no defense. Like, there was absolutely it was cringe, to be honest with you. But I mean, it was a lot of point scoring, a lot of threes,
It's crazy because when the Celtics had their trio, they had some 3-point shooters on there. They had Paul Pierce and they had Ray Allen.
Right.
I don't know about Rondo, but at least they had those two. And you don't see them jacking up threes every single and shoot. Allen he could even drive the ball to the hoop at times. I still remember he froze up Sasha Vujicic in the finals when he made that crucial layup.
Right.
Remember when he froze him?
I know.
Yeah. So he's not a guy that's always going to have to jack up threes. So that is what I liked about that era. And then again, All-Star game. What was the best All-Star game? That's probably never going to be replicated. The 2002 All-Star game? Do you remember watching that one?
You talking about when Mikey Jordan was his final one?
No.
Oh, the one with Marbury and AI.
Yeah.
Marbury, AI in the East. Yeah. I
Yeah, that one where it felt like it was a playoff game.
They were trying, bro. It's a joke. It's a joke. This All-Star games these days. It's why even pay money? I could see if they was letting the fans in for free and they put on that nonsense. You know what I mean? But people are paying money to go see that. Play the game, bro. Y'all just playing basketball. Have some faith and try to win a game. We're not telling you to go out and try to get hurt or nothing. Just try to win a game like you would do in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I see these guys go pick up basketball for free during the summertime. They could get hurt during those times too, and you play hard. I seen Kevin Durant inside I forgot what college in Manhattan years ago. He was playing hard. He scored like 40 points.
St. John's?
No, it wasn't St. John's. It was in Manhattan.
Oh, you said Manhattan shit.
Yeah. I've seen Kevin Durant at the Rucker, but I actually see these guys play hard during the summer. You ain't getting paid for that, really. I mean, you probably get an appearance fee, but you ain't getting paid what you're getting paid in the NBA. You can't 30,000, 40,000 fans watching you to pay money to go to that All-Star game. You just go out there like it's a practice. Like that's crazy. That's not a game. I'm not paying money to see that.
I know they're supposed to be focusing on the game, but they're doing practice. Remember what AI said about the practice in the game?
Right.
Yeah, hell no. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I'm blaming the fans for that, for keep paying money to even that stadium for those All-Star games should be half empty. They should not, encourage that. Well, let me get to the super chat.
Yeah.
And first, let me see. Jeremy Lin turned back into Pumpkin when he left New York. It's all over, but the shouting says Desmond. Yes, I think it's over for the. I think they can delay the inevitable if they win on Sunday, but eventually they're gonna lose Desmond. They're gonna lose the series, but they can delay the inevitable Desmond. Visual Hype says, "What hurt the Knicks was Amari always being hurt." Yes, that destroyed the Knicks' chances. Amari always being hurt, but they knew before they gave him that huge contract he was injury prone. But they was trying to get somebody to, because LeBron and Bosh and Wade, they wasn't going to come. They wasn't coming to New York. So they wanted a star. So they, they got him, and he was just hurt all the time. Melo was never going to share the spotlight with Lynn, says Desmond. And Tim Howard says, yeah, with the $10 bomb, yeah, the Knicks team are cool and nice, but during the 90s and early 2000s, no, I had to go against these Knicks fans as a Heat fan. This team receiving the curse, says Tim Howard. Yeah, and like I said, the players on the Knicks, they are cool. I like Cat. I like, even though they call Cat sassy and zesty, but I like Cat. I like Brunson. I like that they're a bunch of good guys. You know what I'm saying? They're a bunch of good guys. I like the team. Now, like I said, the fans themselves, I can understand if you still don't like the fans. You know what I'm saying? Because the fans is cocky. They go overboard with their celebration and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I didn't start recognizing the rivalry between the Knicks and the Heat until when Charlie Ward got thrown to the ground by I don't know who it was, but
PJ Brown.
It was PJ Brown that threw him, and then after that, Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning was swinging.
Yeah,
like that's when I started to figure out, okay, these two hate each other.
Oh yeah. He had fought Alonzo Mourning, and they was teammates on Charlotte.
That's what I didn't understand.
Charlotte, not the Bobcats, but the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. I was like, because they played together.
Yeah. And Van Gundy was grabbing on. Jeff Van Gundy was grabbing on to the ankle of Mourning. That was, oh man.
Jeff Van Gundy. I feel bad for that. What was the other time when the ref made some type of a I don't know if it was a foul signal or something. He hit Van Gundy onto and he just popped him right in the face. It was on accident.
Yeah. Man.
You remember, right?
What do you think about Michael Jordan returning to NBC? They now this breaking news: Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, and Carmelo Anthony is joining the NBC. They returning back to the NBA on NBC. So they're not gonna have the finals, I don't believe. I think ESPN is still gonna have the finals in NBC. But Michael Jordan, Carmelo Anthony, and Vince Carter is gonna be in some capacity working for NBC. I don't know if it's gonna be the broadcast team or I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be like Charles Barkley, what they have on TNT. I don't know. I can't imagine they're gonna be like Mike Breen announcing the game. But I can see them in the studio. What do you think about that? NBA on NBC returning.
It needs to return. That's what made the NBA. Like I'm not an NBA on TNT guy. I don't know why. It's got to be on national television. And I still remember watching the Battle of LA when Kawhi was actually, I think he's still there. And then again going against LeBron and everything like that. And it was on NBC. And I thought there needs to be these types of marquee games. No, it's good they came back. And that jingle.
They even said they're gonna bring back the guy that died that they used to I know they used to use Bob Costas, but there was a guy that died that used to do the hyping up intro the commercials of the game, and he died. They want to bring him back using artificial intelligence. But I'm like, well, that's kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to do that, but they signed Jordan. You know, they're like, look, NBA on NBC, Jordan. You have to have Jordan in some capacity. I think they paid him like $30 million to do that. So.
Yeah, he's earned. If there's somebody that earned his keep, it was Jordan because when he started basketball, like he was making more off his endorsements than he was off the basketball salary for God knows how many years.
Yes.
And finally, because he wasn't getting those $30 million contract. $30 million.
Not into the last couple of years.
Annual. Or now people call it the Supermax. Like, he wasn't sniffing that for a long time.
A long time.
Oh, so it was a 2001. I keep getting those years mixed up. Yeah,
Iverson and Marbury. I remember that Tim Howard, the mega moderator. I remember. I'm a sports fan. I remember a lot. I know a lot about baseball, football, and basketball. So that's why I said we could talk that up here. You know what I'm saying? We could talk members only. We could talk it up whatever. I could talk about this stuff for hours at a time. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care what anybody says. That was the best All-Star game in history so far. Yes. I can't think of a better one than that.
Maybe when Magic, remember he had the STD and he came back for the All-Star game and he won the MVP of the All-Star game. That was a great one too. But that was like when he first retired. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that was a good one too. But I don't know, something about the 2001 though. Like. It felt like a play, like Magic coming back and stuff like that. That was great. But it just did not have that playoff game feel. This one did.
Yeah, because it was just a normal game, and people wanted to win. That's why I'm so pissed off that the players today don't take that type of pride of winning a game in front of 30, 40,000, sometimes 70,000 people, depending on the stadium they're in. Sometimes they be in football stadiums to play the All-Star game, and they come out and do that garbage that we be seeing. You know what I'm saying? It's a slap in the face to the paying public. It's a slap in the face to the spirit of the sport. It's a mockery to the sport. And people say, just the All-Star game, Raze. But I'm not watching. I refuse to pay money to even go to that thing. Even if it was in the Garden of Brooklyn, I'm not paying money. You got to give me a free ticket. And the way they do, man, I'll probably go in for a free ticket to try to get an autograph. But I don't even want to see it. I don't want to watch it. It's so bad. It's a slap in the face to the spirit of the competition in general. You know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the things.
I hate it. I hate the All-Star game now. These players have made a mockery of the All-Star game. It's disrespectful.
They need to put some type of incentive in there.
No, it shouldn't. They already get paid enough, bro. I mean, it's disrespectful. Like I said, I could go to Lincoln Terrace Park and watch a good game. They playing for free. They damn near want to pull out guns and start shooting at each other to win that game. You know what I'm saying? Because they mad. for free in a park. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no,
Yeah.
they don't need no incentive. They just need the incentive they need is pride in winning a damn game. I hate that. I hate it. I would never understand for the life of me why these players act that way. It's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. And I will always say that. I don't care what nobody say. It's disrespectful. Because I've seen past generations play the games outright. Kobe would never have this nonsense. Kobe wanted to win that game because it's another game. Come on, bro. You can't. It's disrespectful. The incentive should be having a win underneath your column in front of 30, 40,000 people, watching in that stadium that paid their money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
your pride, bro.
Yeah, like the Major League Baseball, right? Like they have an incentive for like the All-Star game. Like if your team wins, then if you, I think they go by league or something like that. Let's just, okay, so
they got rid of that.
Oh, what the? No more they got rid of that?
Yeah, they're like, well, yeah, they bring that in. They got rid of that.
Oh hell no! But you know what I was talking about, right? Like if you were on the National League team and your
team you get the home field advantage
in the World Series. Yeah.
Oh,
they got rid of that. Oh, that's lame. Never mind then. I'll just only watch it for the home run derby. But you know what? The All-Star game baseball is still not that bad, because they still try. But the only thing is now they sub, the players don't play full time in there because they got to bring in the reserves and stuff. So it's still not too bad. But what about like the NFL Pro Bowl? That's almost the same thing.
No, but I can understand a Pro Bowl more because football is a physical sport. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It's like you definitely get hit. You get hit now, but nowadays I guess with the NBA players now they get hurt on non-contact stuff. It's just a mess. I'm even before they was really getting hurt, they was acting like this. By 2010, 2011, they was doing this nonsense. Well, really, we're now we can't say that on when Kobe really stopped playing, in them All-Star games to that extent. That's when they started this nonsense.
Oh, when he opted out. You know what I'm saying? When he opted out a couple of times.
Yeah, when he wasn't really playing, he wasn't playing the All-Star. That's when they started pulling this nonsense to players. You know what I'm saying? So really, it wasn't that far back. But I can see you not going 100%. You know what I mean? But to do the stuff they doing it's a waste of time. Just get rid of the All-Star game at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's so bad. You know what I'm saying? Just get rid of it because you're making a mockery of basketball in general. Future world film: Stephon Marbury for Knicks new head coach. Hell no.
I don't know about
the thing is. I know he's a legend in China, but Stephon Marbury, he should not be featured at the Garden. His time in New York was awful, and him and his like, if you featuring Stephon Marbury, and people that ain't gonna like it, he's be on the camera. Those was horrible years for the Knicks. I know he's from Coney Island, this and that.
Right.
Those years, he was the lead guy for the Knicks. Was horrible, terrible, awful, disgusting.
I don't get it because he was killing it.
About Jerome James contract and all that nonsense, and then Isaiah Thomas years. You might as well let Isaiah Thomas. If you're gonna be highlighting Stephon Marbury cheering on the Knicks, he, you might as well bring back Isaiah Thomas. Let him be on camera. Though you can't boo Isaiah Thomas, and you're gonna be clapping yay for Stephon Marbury. You can't do that. I witnessed those years. I witnessed that era. Stephon Marbury.
I don't know what happened.
It's not. It makes no sense.
I felt
you might as well bring back Isaiah Thomas then and let him be in the Garden cheering. Oakley, Charles Oakley, let him come back to the Garden. I know he had to fight with the security.
I forgot that Oakley. Yeah, that dude was an enforcer for real. Him and Anthony Anthony Mason. They were some enforcers in the paint.
They were goons.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to Anthony Mason. That was horrible.
I forgot about that. Oh, so someone put down that they should have a 4 nations in the NBA, but how? The only thing I can think of, and they did this a long time ago, but they stopped, it was the winner of the NBA finals. And then it was the winner of the Euro League would go against each other, but it didn't really have an incentive. I guess there's bragging rights,
Right.
And I know Major League Baseball did that for a little bit too, where it would be the winner. It would be the winner of New Japan. I don't know if they called it New Japan. It's the Nippon. Yeah, they call it the Nippon Baseball League, and then the winner of the World Series would go against each other. I know they did that too, but again, it was considered like a friendly match. It didn't really there wasn't any stakes involved.
Right.
Yeah. So I saw them do that.
Yeah, shout out to no, they need to just keep Tom Thibodeau as the coach. Just keep Tom Thibodeau. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Just keep him as the coach. He's doing fine. He's doing great. Beggars can't be choosers. Just keep him as coach. And just maybe one day they get to the finals. Just keep him there. Keep him there. No need for John Starks. No need for Mark Jackson. Just keep Thibodeau. It's snakish to get rid of him right now. Because you're pretty much saying that if we had another coach, we had John Starks, we'll be killing Indiana, which is not true. So just keep Tom Thibodeau and just call it a day. And shout out to Jake White also. Shout out to you, Jake White. And like I said, shout out to Future World Films. He's in the building, but no, Marbury changed man in China. He's a god out there in China, but not not over here. No, he done too much over here. You know what I'm saying? Des Smith said, as Herman Edwards once said, "You played to win the game. You played to win the game. You played to win the game."
I just don't understand how there's such lack of longevity in the NBA, but in the NFL, you got a guy like Marv Lewis, who's been the coach for one team for damn near 16 seasons and couldn't win one playoff game. And how do I know about this? Stephen A. Smith will let you know every freaking time they do a segment on the Bengals.
He reminded you. Yeah.
You remember that Marv Lewis? Yeah, he's been staying with that team for 16 years.
They gave him a lot of chances. Hey, I mean, if he can stay that long, you got to give Coach Tibbs, more time. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah. Another guy that I think is going to start to have that longevity is Mike Tomlin. Watch, he'll have that.
He's still there on the Steelers, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He'll have that longevity. Another guy. I was surprised the Seahawks finally got rid of Pete Carroll because he's been with that team for a while too.
Yeah. He was old though. Pete Carroll was older than he looked. Pete Carroll was once the oldest person in the NFL.
He still is. He still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just jumped ship to the Raiders.
He looked younger than Belichick, but he was older than Belichick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, when he goes. And what is it? The quarterback also went to the Raiders too. The guy that he used to play for the Seahawks. So that'll be interesting. So, if Seattle plays against Vegas, it'll be like Seahawks versus Seahawks when you think about it.
Right. And like I said, I want to thank Will for the Cash App donation. I got not this.
I know.
It's another Will. I gave him
shout out to Will
for the Punta Cana hotels. So shout out to him for the donations. Anybody else need some information of Punta Cana guest friendly? Under $50, hotels. I'm gonna send you $1 back. 2 hotel names. Do the Cash App. Send $15. Send $15, and I will send you the names of the hotels. I send $1 back in the Cash App, and I would send you the names of the hotels. If you guys want to get it in out there inside the Dominican Republic, great place. Good old Mr. Reliable. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to the super chat real quick. We got also Tim Howard. He came back with the 10, which I've seen that one. But shout out to you, Tim Howard, for that $10 bomb. And we got a $20 bomb from Castle Dragon. Shout out to Castle Dragon. Let's go Knicks. Listen, Castle Dragon. Now you see the title, Castle Dragon 78. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I want the Knicks to extend this series. It's been great for New York City.
It's good it's good for the league.
It's good, and good for New York City. It's good for the league. great for the league actually. And the commissioner is rooting for the Knicks privately. He can't say it outright. He's rooting for the New York media to get to the finals. Castle Dragon, and thank you for the $20 to the Raze Travel Fund for my birthday. Castle is going to go far. Castle Dragon 78. I agree with you. Let's go Knicks. I'll come live and cover the game as it's playing on Sunday. It's gonna be a night game, by the way, not an early game on Sunday. But I gotta tell the truth. I don't see them winning. I don't think they're going to bring it back to New York.
I think they'll take game 3. I think they
You
could.
think?
Because,
you think so? All right.
Because
so
I think Indiana is going to get a little too overconfident.
Complacent, or
yeah,
is it overconfident or complacent? You think they're going to get too laxed?
Yes,
and not really have the killer instinct.
They might take a game off. Either they'll take a game off, or they're gonna cause turnovers or something. Because I just think they're gonna play, either complacent or they're gonna get too arrogant or something. I think they're gonna drop. They're gonna drop game 3.
So, do you think the Knicks are gonna come out so desperate, and dare I say, probably start playing jail ball and cause a lot of turnovers because they're so desperate, and
they're gonna have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, right?
Yeah. The only way I see the Knicks having a chance to win the series is they got to win the next 2. I know that I can see them at least winning one of them, but I don't see them winning the next. So I think it'll end up being 3-1, and then the Knicks better play. Yeah, I think it'll end up being 3-1. And then after that, what is it? It's the next 2 games. It's the next 2 games.
Next
back
2
to
in
New York,
Indiana, bro. Yeah.
Right. It's the next 2 in Indiana, and then what?
And then I think it's 1-1. It goes 1 back to New York, and then 1 back to Indiana. Then game 7 in New York. So they got the home court.
Oh, okay. So they keep. Okay, I keep forgetting how that works. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see Indiana drop in game 3.
You can see it.
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to be They're going to be a little overconfident. I don't think they're going to sweep. I think they'll win the series, but I don't think it'll be a sweep.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't use the word confident. I would use the word. Well, we up 2-0. If we lose, I would say they won't really be worried if the Knicks win one and they still up 2-1. I wouldn't say confident. I would say like blase. It's more like, if we lose, we lose. It doesn't matter.
They may take a game off. Yeah.
Would they be as hungry since they're up 2-0, rather if it was tied 1-1? But I think, like I said, Halliburton, since they said he was the most overrated player, I would think that he would come out hungry to prove that he, what I'm saying? I think
he was a non-factor. He was a non-factor in game 2. He was 5 out of 16.
Yeah, he tried. It wasn't like it wasn't for a lack of shooting. He tried,
For a lack of it was 5 out of 6.
He did have a couple of shots in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He took 16 shots and only made 5. So the Knicks did their job on him.
But hold on, like I was saying about Jason Kidd, I watched this game. The fourth quarter, even though he only had like 14 points in the whole game, he hit a couple of shots in the fourth quarter, and he controlled, like he would drive and kick. The defense would collapse. He would drive and kick to the open man and give those other guys open shots, which means intangible. Right. So you don't have to be the lead scorer every night, but when the game is on the line, you can just have that poise, even if you drive and kick out into the open man because the defense collapse on you. And like I said, if they make the shots, you can still have a huge impact on the game, even if you're not the one scoring.
True. No, you're absolutely right about that. It also reminds, it doesn't mirror exactly, but it does remind me a little bit when Jordan went to the Garden. He had 55 points, and then before the buzzer, they thought he was going to shoot it, but
that pass down to Winnington,
yeah, I was like, damn, that was so unexpected. He did that pass.
Future World Film says he didn't score much, but he ran the show. Yes, Future World Film. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes even when you're not scoring. See, that was my problem with Carmelo Anthony. When Carmelo Anthony wasn't scoring, he had zero intangible for the Knicks. You know, I don't know about Denver when he was playing with Denver, but with the Knicks, it was like if he's not scoring 30 or 40 points, even if he scored that amount of points, they still would lose. So, like, where was the intangible? Like, how do you make other players better in certain moments? And Melo didn't do that. With Halliburton, he seems to do that. I don't watch the Pacers much, but he seems to be able to do that because he had that drive and kick skill that Melo didn't have. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
I guess Melo could, if Melo, I mean, he could have had it. I think he showed glimpses of it sometime when Woodson first took over as the coach. He did. He showed glimpses of it, but that wasn't in his arsenal consistently. You know what I'm saying? But I want to thank our Castle Dragon once again. Like I said, I'm going to be rooting for the Knicks, Castle Dragon on Sunday. Hopefully they can extend the series and get it to like a game 6. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for that.
Melo did have a run where he was one of the most clutch shooters, where he had like I think he had like the highest percentage of game-winning shots,
and that was like Denver, those Denver years. But I didn't watch much of the Denver.
Nobody did.
Run,
Nobody did. If they watched, they would only watch when he was on. But once he left, nobody cared about Denver.
Chat is fire. Shout out to Castle Dragon. Thank you. Anybody that's new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We talking basketball on the channel. So shout out. We're gonna stay with this until the finals ends, or at least until the Knicks are eliminated. Tim Howard says Pacers at 5.
So which teams? It seems like it's the big 3 that's always going to be the ones that keep the ratings. It's either LA, New York, or Boston. But what would be like the next team that would be considered?
Historically for the NBA, I'm trying to think.
It used to be the Bulls.
Woo! Oh, the Warriors.
The Warriors. That's right.
But even though it's still California.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, the Warriors they get a lot of because I remember it used to be the Bulls, especially in the 90s.
Oh, and the Bulls, the Bulls. Michael Jordan. Like I said, star-driven league. So that was a product. Chicago was still a big market too, though. So big media market, and you had Jordan. So,
but they're not getting the attention that they got when they had Derrick Rose.
Right. Because Rose was an exciting player too. So
and homegrown, and he was homegrown,
and his style of play was exciting too. So you don't want to have a straight up boring player as your, what I'm saying. I mean, he's good, but you don't want to have
like the Spurs, they were hella boring to watch.
Yeah, they were boring to watch. So they were boring. They're great basketball, but just all right, great bad, just boring. But they made for good villains though, but they were boring.
Tim Duncan though had the fundamentals though. That guy. If there's anybody that wants to learn fundamentals of basketball, he would be the guy to watch.
Yeah. They were boring and a small market team. Bad combination for the NBA.
Oh man.
But they kept winning and they kept, being there. So I know they were getting frustrated. But hey, it is what it is. The NBA, it is what it is. They became household names though, because they was in the finals so much, or in the thick of things so much,
I guess we could say Miami was a big market at one point when they had the Heatles.
And they still wasn't a big market. The fans just show up late because the beach town. Miami is not a huge NBA market, but they were the hot ticket. You know what I'm saying? They were a hot ticket for the Heatles.
Yeah,
but they just
And then when Shaq went there, that was huge. That was a big deal. Like you don't think that was?
Yeah, I mean they get hot. I mean
you
get the right players there. So, they get the right players there. But like I said, it's a beach town. Blase. They go. The fans of support. But it's not rabid. It's not a rabid like Chicago, New York City. It's not rabid sports town. They'll go with support. They'll show up. They'll show up. So you got the stars. You had LeBron and Wade. They call that Wade County. You know what I mean?
Yeah. have you noticed, Rays, that when you look at all the chips that these teams won, they've always had a star play, with the exception of, there was only one exception, and that'd be the Detroit Pistons that beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
But you take that away, just about every team had a star player, and then they had a very good number two.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yeah.
noticed that. Now I don't know about the Celtics. I know Tatum is their guy. I don't. Who's the number two?
Jaylen Brown, he's an excellent player too.
Okay,
He be having grudges too for not making all NBAs and All-Star teams. So he be holding a grudge too. But he's another excellent player.
Yeah, and then another guy that gets forgotten. What is it when the Bucks won their chips? What is it? Giannis and then Drew Holiday.
Well, Drew Holiday and other guy that got hurt the next season. That's why I don't understand why they fired their head coach, because Middleton got hurt the next season.
Yeah, that's another guy,
Chris Middleton, and he helped.
Chris
and he was the number two. He was the number two guy, and the coach didn't have him in that next playoff run, and they fired the coach. I'm like, yo, y'all are wild and y'all are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? He didn't have his number two guy. His number two guy wasn't there, so why would you fire the coach just because he lost in the playoffs? Just stupid, idiotic.
Yeah, again, I don't understand the short-term thing that they do. Like, if your coach has great chemistry with your star player, and you can build around your star player, like I would keep the coach. I don't understand.
He probably had a little tension with the star players. The players make so much money, but you gotta allow the coach to be able to coach, even if he get into the star players' asses sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You gotta allow the coach to discipline the star player a little bit. You know what I mean? You can't just fire a successful coach that won you a title just because he have a little argument, a little rift with the star player. Let them have it out. They got to be adults. They got to be professionals. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to fire the guy that won you a title just because he might be a little rough on your star player or tough on your star player? Well, sometimes your star player might need that in his ear.
Yeah.
Like, get out of line. You know what I'm saying?
They do. Like Latrell Sprewell and BJ Carlissimo.
Oh, yeah. Sprewell just he choked him.
Oh man, I couldn't believe that the first time I heard about that. I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff does go on behind the scenes, but that one, when that came to light, I was surprised.
Castle Dragon says Halliburton whack. Yeah, Halliburton is trying to prove that he is not overrated. The Castle Dragon, he is trying to prove it because the Miami is superficial town, South Beach. Yes, Jay White. Yeah, I got that. I got that. That image of them being like that, Jay White. The San Antonio Spurs with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tim Parker, and that's when they beat the Knicks in '99 when they had David Robinson.
Again, they had healthy players, and the Knicks were like pretty much.
Knicks needed Ewing. That's what they did. They would have needed a veteran Ewing for that series, but he was hurt. So,
to have a shot, Larry Johnson did carry that team. He just couldn't, but he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, the injury. Yeah. Celtics, Lakers, Bulls, Warriors, Spurs, Heat, Cavs, Rockets are the last teams to win multiple chips. Yeah, you notice now this is the this era right now in the NBA. Teams are not winning back-to-backs anymore. So this is like the what they call it, the parity era in the NBA.
What was the last team that won back-to-back? I can't even think because I know.
Had to be the Warriors, right? The Warriors went back-to-back.
Right.
KD Warriors. I don't think any other team won back-to-back after them. Nope. No other team won back-to-back.
No, that's right. There was the last era. Yeah. Well, because I think, what is it? The league switched from going from the super teams, and now they're gone to what they call the dynamic duel.
Dynamic duos, and and it's just gonna be parity.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like the idea. I didn't like the idea of the super team, anyways.
Well, I
I like that.
Guys trying to get cheap titles, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you got the All-Star game for that, man. Well, not the cheap titles, but you got the All-Star game for the super team. We don't need to have that throughout the regular season. So I wasn't too big on the Heatles. Like I didn't really think too much about it with the Celtics when they had their big three, because I always thought like Ray Allen was already, he wasn't really, yeah, I guess he was sort of at his, he was sort of plateauing already. Like he, don't get me wrong, he still can shoot, but he wasn't the same Ray that you saw with like the Sonics or the Bucks.
Same Ray, yeah.
Yeah. And then
he saved LeBron's legacy though.
Yeah, he did.
That three, that would have been devastating. You know what I'm saying? If we'd have missed that.
That would have ended this. That would have ended the series.
In the series, see the series over.
And see LeBron. Yeah, LeBron. Yeah, he wanted to be the hero to take that shot, and he missed.
Yeah. At least he took it. I give him credit for taking it. But he missed. Yeah. But
well, there's some. Yeah. I guess there's times to take the shot, but then there's times to give it to somebody like. Yeah. Because he was smart. Did you notice when they won their chip against the Warriors? He was smart and gave that to Kyrie to hit that shot.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you can't be the guy that always takes the shot.
You're right. Well, whatever team that has the face of the league, like LeBron and Jordan, they're trying to push for Anthony Edwards, but it looks like he's about to get knocked out.
I can't believe, man. I thought he was the man. I thought he was going to be the next face of the NBA, and I was expecting that. Although I still didn't like that stupid corny dance he did in his little celebration, right. But other than that, I was like, come on, like this right here was the time for him to, put himself on the map, put Minnesota on the map, make them, a possible dynasty, and we'll see.
Well, somebody, Jay White, you said Mike Francesa said the series can continue due to the pattern of the Indiana Pacers. Well, okay, yeah, they're saying that the Pacers play better on the road, and no, my fault. They won't. So similar to the Knicks don't play well at home, and they saying that the Pacers will let the Knicks probably get back in the series, according to Mike Francesa, which I had heard. I did hear that. I heard that not from Francesa. I heard that from a couple of people in my chat from the earlier live stream. Miami was the center of basketball world during the Heatles.
Yeah, well, it's because of that interview. LeBron, man, that was corny as hell. I'm sorry to say. You saw that,
yeah. The decision.
That's it. I couldn't even think of it, but yeah, I was like, that was one of the corniest PR that I've ever seen in sports entertainment. Well, not counting WWE, but yeah.
Right. Yay, that's all good, Raze. You solid. Shout out to you, Castle. Thank you for the $20. Yeah. Jason Kidd is not known for scoring. Yeah, but he was the best person I like Jason Kidd better than Steve Nash. Now, people would say they take Steve Nash because he could score more.
No, I would take.
I believe Jason Kidd because he played defense, he rebounded. I believe Jason Kidd was a better player than Steve Nash. Not a better scorer, of course. Steve Nash was a great player too. I don't want to make it seem like Steve Nash wasn't good, 2-time MVP, but I would take Jason Kidd and his intangibles, his rebounding, his defense on other point guards. Yeah, I would take Jason Kidd, even though he wasn't as good a scorer as Steve Nash. I don't know about what anybody else would take.
I would take Kidd over Nash, but I'd take Parker over Kidd.
Oh, Tony Parker. And Tony Parker is very underrated. I guess he got overshadowed by, Tim Duncan, of course.
And Kawhi, yeah.
But yeah, either one. But it's no secret why the USA team won, and they brought back Kidd because they needed somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Kidd is no secret. No secret why they won in 2008. That the Redeem team, because they added Jason Kidd. Now it did add Kobe. Because his case, he wanted to represent USA. So adding Kidd and Kobe to that team gave the USA the medal again. You know what I'm saying?
You talk about when they were the Redeem team?
Yeah, the Redeem team. Yeah. Coach,
Yeah, they're still not going to beat the '92 Dream Team, but yeah.
But they were losing. Like they had to, but they added Kid to run the show, which they
Right.
needed. You know what I'm saying? They needed an actual leader on the court.
Yeah, you need a floor
And of course,
general.
they
Yeah.
added Kobe. You know what I mean? So they needed that. They really did, especially for young LeBron and them guys. Those guys are younger.
Well, they needed that because USA basketball wasn't winning for how many years?
Right.
You know, but that was only also because, you know, they didn't have their best. You know what Trump said, right? They didn't send their best.
Right.
You know, because players opted out of it. So that's why USA didn't win. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. Either that or world or European basketball has finally caught up.
They caught up. I mean, it's obvious that they caught up, and they were catching up during that time. You know, they a lot of the best players in the league are foreign. You know what I'm saying? Hell, even Kid Gilchrist, he's not American black. He's from Canada. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
Giannis is Greek.
I feel like Gilchrist is what Andrew Wiggins should have been.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins disappointed me. I was a fan of Andrew Wiggins. You know what I mean? He really disappointed me in the league. You know what I mean? He should have been like a number one guy. You know, he's not supposed to be like this journeyman number 3, number 4 guy on nights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm disappointed in him. You know what I mean?
Who was another guy that was like, he had some hype, could have been great? Jabari Parker. Another guy
who disappointed me too.
Man. Like, he had the tangibles. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
And another guy, but we've never seen him play in professional, and most likely, and of course we'll never. Len Bias, because I've seen his.
Oh, he died on the court. Yeah, he died.
I know, because I've seen his matchups with Jordan in college.
Right.
And I would say he's just, you know, he had equal amount of skills as him, and he probably would have been up there, as a legend. Probably. Right. I don't know for sure because we don't know.
Yeah, and your rating of Brunson dropped dramatically. Well, yeah, you living in the time right now, but he's still been playing great. He's been having some great games. You know, I mean, he just, you know, but he's still going to be up there in the Knicks ratings because really, who's in the Knicks? They only run a couple of titles, the Knicks. So really, you know, it doesn't take much to get up there in the Knicks ratings. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as far as the Mount Rushmore of Knicks players, it doesn't take much. You know what I mean?
And you know what I've seen mostly now that you will never see in NBA then? Yeah. What you'll see now is when people get the rebound, when they shoot the ball and the ball misses, you're gonna mostly see the ball bounce onto the ground before someone gets the rebound. Back then, you did not see that, or you did see it, but it was rare. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, ball misses it, someone jumps up and gets the rebound, but nowadays ball miss and the ball will hit
because they would crash the boards back in the days, and now coaching is different now, you know, because they be like, all right, y'all got to get back on defense because now guys be leaking out for the easy fast break, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that Jason Kidd, like when he was with the Nets, that's why they got slaughtered by the Lakers, but the Lakers was a great team anyway. But Phil Jackson, yet again, when they played against New Jersey in their finals, the Nets was a fast-breaking team. Mm-hmm. They didn't really do well in the half court. Phil Jackson forced the Nets into the half court. So anytime the Lakers would put up a shot, Phil would tell his players, don't crash the boards, just get back on defense. And Jason Kidd used to either get the rebound or somebody would get Jason Kidd the ball and they would start the fast break, but there was no fast break that be had. Because the Lakers, Phil Jackson was smart enough to say, look, if we could keep the Nets into the half court, we beat them. They just a normal team.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he didn't crash the boards for the offensive rebound. He would say, get back. He would keep telling them, get back, because Kidd would kill you on a fast break. That, you know, and we're making kind of like mediocre, not mediocre, but good players into great players if we don't get back on the fast break. That's their thing, the fast break.
Right.
Nets didn't know what to do in the half court like that. You know what I mean? So
Tim Howard made a point. Greg Oden is another one.
Oh, Greg Oden, yeah. Greg Oden was
crap.
probably disappointing.
But even
Ohio.
But even then, I knew that Durant should have been the guy that I know everybody said Odin and everything, but Durant was something different. I felt that Durant was faster. He had better mid range. You know, this was when he was in what is it, Texas, and everything. And I was like, why did they pick? I guess they picked Odin because Odin was like the dominant big man. But I felt like Durant was, you know, he played like a small forward, but I think he's the size of what is he like 6'11"?
Yeah.
6'11". I think it was 6'10" at the time he was drafted.
His injury just is awful. So I guess it spooked him, and he just never grown into the offensive player. Michael Connolly had a better career now. You know, you never would have thought that. Connolly was his teammate. You know what I'm saying? In Ohio, Ohio State, Ohio.
Okay, Desmond, I cannot agree that Odin was the biggest bust. I that still goes to Oliver Candy.
Yeah, Oliver Candy. Well, no, both. I mean, Odin. Both. I mean, it's equal, to be honest with you. To me, I mean, but they both was bad, you know, in the NBA. But Ant-Man has turned into Plastic Man. I said Desmond.
Another bust would be Joe Smith. Didn't he come from Maryland?
Oh yeah, Joe Smith was another bust. Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe Smith.
I think because he was a number 1 pick too, right?
Yeah, Joe Smith was another bust, definitely 100%. But he went to the Warriors, Joe Smith.
Did he? Is that the team that drafted him? I forgot the team that drafted him.
Right.
Another guy. I don't want to name him a bust because even though he was a number 2 pick, he was drafted by a defending champion team. So really, it was really hard to fit him in a team as a piece of a puzzle. Darko Milicic.
Wait a second. Darko was another bust.
But there weren't really high expectations.
Detroit should have taken the Melo, went on and taken him, but he just won a title. But you take Melo because you have longevity. You groom Melo to take over.
Yes, Sam Bowie. Yes, that is another one. No, Kwame's not. No, yeah, I wouldn't call him the biggest bust. Was Ed O'Bannon drafted? What pick was he, though? Hey, Jake White, what pick was Ed O'Bannon? Anthony Bennett. That sounds very familiar. When was he drafted? That's a very familiar name. Actually, you got me looking him up. Anthony Bennett. He was drafted number 1.
Who that?
Anthony Bennett. I knew nothing about Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, another one. Another one. Oh, Kwame Brown. What was Kwame Brown? Well, Kwame Brown wasn't as bad as these other guys, Anthony Bennett and Greg Oden and Oliver Candy.
Yeah, like those guys.
Adam Morrison. Remember him, Adam Morrison?
Wait a minute. What pick was he? Yes, he was a bust too.
I think he was number 1 over JJ Redick, right?
Wait, he was drafted the number 1 pick?
I think he was number 1 over JJ Redick. Remember him? It was the Duke and Gonzaga.
Right. Wait, Redick was drafted in the top 5?
Yeah, it was him and Adam Morrison that year. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, that must have been a really sucky class that year.
But we didn't know it at the time. We thought the Morrison was going to be great. We thought Redick was going to be great. The way they was playing in college.
Yeah. Something about Gonzaga where it's like Oh man, do you stay away from picking a player from that team? I
See
sometimes
how they
wonder.
play in the NBA, right? Yeah.
Oh, I found out another bust. Markelle Fultz.
Oh, Adam, he said Cab says Adam was third.
Oh, he was third. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Markelle Fultz is another one. Very
Oh,
disappointing.
that dude had. Why did Philly give him so many chances? The Philly fan base is one of the most unforgiving fan base
Yeah.
in the league, or actually not in the league, but in the sports world. Yet this guy kept having chance after chance after chance. The fans didn't turn on him. I was like, come on, man. What is special about this guy? This guy, like, I don't want to clown him or anything like that, because, of course he's obviously good to be in the league, but he didn't turn out to be what they drafted him for.
I think Philly. I think he got a lot of leeway for the fans because Philly was already pretty good.
Oh,
At that moment, so they didn't get him because they were a bad team. They got him because of a trade they had. You know what I'm saying? So they had somebody else pick, so they was able to get him, and
right.
they were already a good team. So the fan bases already knew they probably So they were if they were sucking. Then the fans would have been more brutal to him out there. I like Markelle Fultz. I think I loved his skill set. Was he in Washington?
I liked him in college, but that was it.
In college, yeah. And I would think that would his skill set would have translated. I think it was just mental with him. It just became mental. His skill set would have translated. He reminded me of Dwayne Wade, the way he played in college. You know what I'm saying? So but it just mentally he just was out of it. He had a nice little run a little bit in Orlando until he got hurt. So then he got hurt. So I think he was turning the corner once he got away from Philly. But he got hurt, So he got another injury.
Oh, another player that fell off. He was good, but I would say he fell off big time was Roy Hibbert. I don't know what the hell happened to that guy.
Yeah, he just fell off. Now he's not a bust, but he just fell off. He just fell off.
Yeah. Zion, would Zion be considered a bust, or because didn't
Zion
he have
is knocking on the door? Says Desmond. You are right. Zion is a huge disappointment. I know it's injury based, conditioning based, but really injury based. Because when he does play, he puts up numbers. When he plays and he's healthy, he puts up numbers.
Right.
You can see flashes like, oh, this guy is legit. He can play, but he doesn't play the season out. He's always hurt.
What the hell? Why does this guy always get hurt?
Yeah.
Who's another bust?
The skill set is there too with him. It's there, but his problem is he's always getting hurt. So it's kind of useless. To be honest, I don't even think Vince Carter. I think Vince Carter had a disappointing career because
but I wouldn't consider. But he wasn't a bust.
No, not a bust. But he's highly disappointing because I consider him. He should have been on Kobe Bryant's level of greatness, at least. They were saying he was, Air Canada. He should have been the next Jordan. So any of those type of guys.
But he didn't have the mid range.
Yeah, and he just didn't have the amount of playoff appearances. I mean, he was in the playoff, but he didn't have the playoff. He wasn't in the battles. He don't have no memorable battles except for against Iverson, in which he lost. That was the one time, but he didn't really. You don't remember him in the playoffs.
No, you're right.
Highlight machine, but I think his career, which it was great for what it was, being a highlight machine. But he should have been more of a all-time great player as far as like on Kobe Bryant's level. You know what I'm saying? He was that talented. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Right, because when I compare him with somebody like T-Mac, because I understand they're cousins.
Yeah.
T-Mac had more of a smooth play, and he gave Kobe fits when he had matchups with him. So, yeah, comparing him to T-Mac, T-Mac had more of a smoother game.
Because now, with him making the Hall of Fame, it's almost still an insult to compare him to Kobe Bryant. It's an insult to Kobe Bryant. And that would have been blasphemy in like 2001 to say that. I'm like, well, that's Vince Carter. He's going to be the next him or Bryant. But it's an insult to Kobe Bryant to compare the two. And that's why I say Vince Carter had a disappointing career to me. I mean, as far as what I expected of
He
him,
he wasn't. Yeah, he was good, but he didn't
he
have.
wasn't even in the he wasn't in the Eastern Conference Finals to fly. I heard somebody trying to say that Harden shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. But like, well, if Carter is in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Harden in.
Yeah,
because he was at least Harden was there to try to get to the finals, and
yeah.
he would choke, but he was there. Vince Carter wasn't even there to even have a chance to choke, or even what I'm saying. Like,
Weren't they in the final? Weren't they in the finals when he was with the Thunder?
he was with but he was like he wasn't the main guy. Matter of
That's
fact, he was a six
crazy at
man.
the time. I know
Yeah,
when you look,
6 man coming off the bench. He was great. He was still good, but he was a 6 man.
I know that's crazy what the Thunder had at the time. And another team that you can that I thought that had a trio that could have been if they could have stayed the course was the Dallas Mavericks when they had Jason Kidd, they had Jimmy Jackson, and then they had Jamal Mashburn. They had those three at the same time. If they could have stayed the course, that could have been a dangerous team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Vince didn't have the killer instinct. He was a nice guy. He was overly nice.
Detroit, when they had Grant Hill, did they have a number two? I don't remember if he had a number two. Who was no, I'm talking about when Grant Hill when he started
but Grant Hill was his injuries started, and he had a number two. I'm trying to remember that roster. I don't really remember. Grant Hill was a special player, man. When he was young and healthy, man. Oh man, if you go back to his highlights, who was I can't remember who was the number two guy. It wasn't a crazy big star like that, but I
can't think of a number two when he was on that team.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Lindsey Hunter, but I don't think he wasn't that great.
No,
he was
like
who? Yeah, it's crazy. I can't even think of who was number two on the Pistons when he was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have been someone.
Yeah, and Vince didn't even. The Nets were actually worse when Vince was there on the Nets with Kidd. You know what I'm saying?
Vince didn't work with the Nets.
Like Kittles and not really Rope, but pretty good. But when Kenny and Martin, they didn't even make the finals with Vince Carter. You would think a combination of Kidd and Vince. They had great highlights though, crazy great highlights, but they got toyed around with when they played the Heat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jake White is not kidding. Jerry Stackhouse.
Stackhouse is disappointing because he was disappointing. A big disappointment, Jerry Stackhouse. Not a flop, but disappointing. He had a disappointing career. Like Vince. Like I gotta be honest, Vince had a disappointment because I expected so much of him, and he had the talent to be on a Mount Rushmore.
Because I was looking at the draft class with Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace. The reason why I mentioned both of them because they came from the same college, and I was like, okay, Wallace may be able to play like a James Worthy, but could Stackhouse live up to the Michael Jordan? And I didn't feel like he could. Like he was good, but I didn't feel like even when they drafted him, he was drafted number 3 or number 4, I forgot. I think it was 3.
Yeah,
I think he was drafted 3, and then Wallace was drafted 4.
Yeah.
And I felt Wallace was going to have like a James Worthy type of career. Now, he's not going to have the championships as James Worthy, but I don't know. I just felt that he was the one that was going to be the better of the two coming from the same college.
Right. And shout out to HB Going Global was back. Shout out to you, HB Going Global. How you doing? HB Going Global?
Brandon Roy.
Yeah, his injuries totally destroyed him.
Holy crap.
His straight up injuries. Straight up took him out the league, Brandon Roy. Devastating injury, Brandon Roy.
If he did not have the injury, because everything was set in place for him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say went to a homegrown team. I know he's a Seattle guy. Ended up getting drafted by the Portland Blazers.
Yeah.
So it kept him up in the Northwest.
Yeah.
And he eventually was going to play with Lillard? No. Was he around the Lillard?
No, he was gonna play with the big guy.
Odin.
Uh,
Not Odin.
not Odin, the other guy that went to the Spurs for a little bit.
Damn, who was that? That went to the Spurs. Robert.
The power forward. I forgot his name. He was the top guy for a little bit.
He was a power forward, top guy.
Yeah, he retired with the Spurs, I believe. I forgot his name though. He was a power forward. And if they would have stayed together, they would have did some damage.
And he was on the Spurs? Aldridge. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot the name. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge. Hey, thank you, Cap. Yeah. LaMarcus Aldridge, yeah.
Yes.
Aldridge, Odin, Roy. Oh yeah, so they would have they would have been a problem. They would have been a problem. SMWH and Cap, no limit. They would have been a problem. They would have been a problem. Future World Films, and that's why I hate injuries. Injuries, you know what I'm saying, just kills what could have been.
But they also had that team also had other issues too. What was the nickname for them? They were called the Jailblazers because all the.
It wasn't that. Was it that team? It was more the Bonzi Wells team. Rashid, where,
and like
slapping. Players are going in and going out because they would have some arrests over there.
Yeah,
Pippen was there. Were they still calling them the? I think Pippen.
I think Pippen was there too. Yeah.
They were calling them the
jail. I was like, dang, what's up with that team? Like
that was before Roy though.
That was before Roy. When like the damn near starting lineup was having.
I think
off the field issues.
The bonus, Zeta Sabonis,
Oh yeah,
that team. If they went and choked away that game 7 against the Lakers, they could have won a title that year.
So the Jailblazers was Bonzi and Balls. Okay, yeah, that's another team. They're a small market team, but man, they got a crazy fan base.
Greg Grant, I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jailblazers was Bonzi Wells and Rasheed Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah, that team, they have a history, but even though they're a small market, I got to tell you, man, their fan base is nuts, and they have this hate for LA. Oh, they hate LA.
Right. Beat LA. Yeah.
They always kept saying that. I think they did beat them in one series. I don't remember when it was. But they lost to the Lakers. I think they were up 20. Oh, yeah.
I think they were up 20 at half. Yeah. If they would have held on, they would have had them a title. The Jailblazers would have had them a title.
Yeah. It just wasn't meant to be. It's just.
I think they would have played the Lakers and made the Pacers in the finals, right? I think they would have played the Bird Pacers when the Bird was coaching them.
That's right. They would have played. Yeah. Now, Raze.
At that season, I think it was that. Yeah.
When Jordan went on his hiatus for what, 2 seasons? Was it 1 season or 2 seasons? How many seasons did Jordan go on his hiatus for? When he did the first retirement?
2 seasons.
2 seasons, and those are the 2 seasons the Rockets won.
Oh well, no. The first season, Rockets won when he went to go play baseball. Then he came back for the half of the year. The Bulls got eliminated, and the Rockets beat the Orlando Magic with Shaq and Penny.
That's right. Jordan wore number 45 that year.
Yeah.
So when the Rockets won those, okay, if Jordan never stepped away, do you think the Rockets would have won those 2 seasons, or at least one of them?
See it. I would have loved to see the Bulls versus the Rockets in those finals, but it's easy to say the Bulls would have won because of their previous 3, but I think it's kind of hard to 4-peat, right?
Well, they did win what? They did a 3-peat.
It'd been hard to 4-peat, right? You would think. Probably hard to 4-peat.
They never did a 4-peat, did they?
Yeah, I'm saying Jordan when he retired.
So they did a 3-peat, and then they did another 3-peat.
Would they have?
So they did 2 3-peats.
Like against the Rockets, would they have did the 4-peat?
All right.
That would have been fun to watch, though.
Hey, someone says I got an echo. Do I have an echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Let me see. What's causing my echo? Hold on a second.
Maybe they hearing it. I don't know.
Okay, I just closed. YouTube window. So I'm just now on. Yeah, I can hear an echo a little bit. Why am I echoing? It's a small one. I can't.
Yeah, I don't hear it. They probably hear it though.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit. I closed my YouTube window though. So the Rockets won 94-95. That's right. That was when Clyde the Glide got his first champion, which surprised me.
He got that ring. He got that cheat ring. He went over there. He played well, but he got that cheat ring. He did.
No, he went over there on a trade though.
Yeah, on the trade. All right.
Yeah, it was a trade. It wasn't him like I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was a trade. But anyways, he went in a way. He kind of played with his old teammate, so it wasn't really, because didn't him and Olajuwon play?
They were they were in college together though.
Yeah, Houston. Yeah, it was Houston College.
Yeah.
So nothing really changed that much, except it was just yeah. I still think it was a cheap ring because he went to a defending championship team. But I could also say the same about Kevin Durant. As great of a skill KD has, the way he won his rings was kind of a cheap. It was very, he just left and went to a winning team.
He went to he took the load and the stress off him being the sole main guy or just him and Westbrook. He made it much easier. We had way more backup. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's where the Thunder went wrong, was allowing West. I like Westbrook's game, but he should not have been the number one option.
Mm-hmm.
It's Durant's team. Durant should have taken the lead. Westbrook would have been the best number two.
Right.
That's how it should have been. I don't know why he was chosen to be the number one guy.
Because his personality, he had a strong personality. His personality was stronger than Durant's. You know what I'm saying? Outward. He enforced his will, maybe. So he's probably difficult for Durant to really, get on him without causing a fight. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
Durant was probably more passive during that time back then.
Because nobody took a back seat. Like whenever there was a duel, like a 1-2 punch, nobody took a back seat. The only exception would be, no, I don't even think Penny Hardaway even took a back seat to Shaq. Like, yeah, I don't think he even stood down. No. I'm trying to think who took a back seat, or whenever they had a disagreement. Garnett, I know Garnett and Marbury had issues with each other.
Yeah.
But none of them would take a back seat. It would just be like, okay, we don't work well, trade me.
Well, Marbury wanted to get out of the cold weather in Minnesota, or that snow, he said. He wanted to come back east,
Right.
So he was loving when they traded him to the Nets, New Jersey. And then he ended the Knicks eventually.
I felt that he was better with the Nets than he was with the Knicks.
Yeah, and that says a lot because they didn't do much, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, could it be because the Nets at the time was a smaller market?
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't. Marbury was a scoring machine back in the days, but he just didn't.
All right.
You could tell the difference when they got Kidd, and I was like, "Wow, they don't got no scoring. They're gonna trade Marbury for Kidd." I remember that when they did that. But that's when I really learned even more basketball. As I was young, I was like, well, this is the difference. Now I was starting to learn why Kidd is better than Marbury. Yeah, he don't score like Marbury, but he runs a team at that point guard position. Remember back in the day, those short point guards?
Yeah.
Short, but they wanted to be like Mike, MJ. So everybody wanted to shoot and score. Instead of running the point guard the way a point guard is supposed to run the point guard position. So you have Marbury's, Allen Iverson, those guys.
They wanted to shoot.
They were really point guard. They were really point guards, and they were playing shooting guards and point guard bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because they wanted to be like Mike, MJ.
But Mike wasn't a point guard.
They didn't want to play
shooting guard.
Ewing and Olajuwon. They wanted to be like Mike, so they wanted to be shooting guards. So they were really point guards, but they had the heights of they were point guards, but they were shooting guards, but they really had the heights of point guards. So that's when you had the Marburys and AIs, doing what they were doing.
Right.
They were like, well, Marbury don't make nobody else better because he was really a shooting guard in a point guard's body. That's why it seemed like he didn't make people better, because he could pass, but he was really he came up as a shooting guard. They wanted to be like Mike, and I would still always believe that. He's an undersized shooting guard. And had skills,
Yes,
but the natural kid was a natural passer. John Stockton, natural passer. They wasn't trying to be Michael Jordan. They wasn't trying to be shooters. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to be the best passers and run the offense like they could be. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't trying to get they 30 points a game and try to lead the league in scoring.
right. I felt like the ideal undersized shooting guard, at least in the 90s, was Mitch Richmond. There was not a lot of people like him at the time.
Yeah.
Especially during the run TMC days.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch Richmond was a beast too, but he was undersized. Like even Jordan said, Mitch Richmond probably was the second best player in the All NBA for a period of time.
Oh, he had a good run. Yeah. I don't know what happened to him, but I was like, man, if they were able to keep that nucleus, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin, that team could have went far.
Right.
But they just didn't. I don't know who their coach was at the time. Was it Don Nelson? It was Don Nelson. I think Don Nelson.
It could have been toward the tail end. Yeah. I think it was Don Nelson. I know he did coach Golden State into the mid 90s, by 95, 94.
Yeah, and
was that?
I don't know what happened. Yeah. I felt like the Warriors just wasn't it once they got Chris Webber on there. No disrespect to Chris.
That's who he coached. He coached Chris Webber, and Sprewell was there too. So.
No disrespect to Chris or anything. I think he's a great player, but I just felt like the Warriors just wasn't the right fit, and it was a better fit for the Kings.
Well, he was older too. You get older, you get more mature. You get, you grow into your game. You grow into what you're going to do. When you're young, you're not really 100% what you're going to be at that moment too. So, Yeah. They played West Coast offense. He said Nelly, Don Nelson. Yeah, Chris Mullin wasn't. Allen Iverson at Georgetown was a scoring point guard. He is shooting guard too. The answer, the original abbreviation of AI. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I remember he was called AI, and I definitely was trying to cop one of his Reeboks. The answer, for sure. I think I eventually got, but I didn't get it when it first came out though.
Right. He wanted to be Kenny Anderson with the with Kenny Anderson with the Georgia.
Kenny Anderson was nice, but too bad he couldn't bring that. He couldn't bring that to the NBA.
Right. That's another disappointing guy in the NBA.
Oh man, him. I love watching him.
They bring get Derek Coleman too.
I love the matchup between watching him and Bobby Hurley, and him making Bobby Hurley look silly. Oh man, that was a nice matchup. Georgia Tech against Duke.
Yeah.
And that was when the ACC was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know what happened now. I feel like the NCAA tournament, the March Madness, as cool as it is, I feel like it just takes away the regular season. I feel like the regular season almost means nothing.
Well, I mean, it's the way to treat it, They say everybody's trying to get prepared for the playoffs, but then, so. That's what it devalues the regular. That's why nobody really knew. I didn't really know OKC had won close to 70 games this regular season.
I didn't even know that either. And then again, speaking of playoffs, I know you don't probably watch it, but was it college football, right? They got that 12-team playoff system.
Yeah.
But then when you look at who won the national title, they didn't even win their conference title.
Right.
And then before that, they lost to a sucky team that was barely at 500. and yet they still was able to make it into the playoff system. Like that's where I felt that just didn't work. But we'll see. They're going to do it again.
Jabari Parker's injuries took him out too. Yeah, I mean, he would have had a chance to be okay. I mean, he had a skill set too. Jabari Parker had a pretty nice skill set.
Ooh, speaking of NCAA, man, what the hell happened to the Fab Four? Because before I've heard of Chris Webber in the NBA, I knew him for calling a timeout when they didn't have a timeout.
Yeah, but the Fab Five, you mean?
Oh, the Fab Five. I don't know why I said Fab Four.
There's a documentary. Yeah. They did a nice documentary of the Fab Five on ESPN years ago. I watched it when I was in DR. That's when I still used to watch cable TV. When I used to go to the DR, but that was like 2016. It was if you could find it on YouTube, there was a fine documentary of the Fab Five. You know what I'm saying?
They should have won. Man, I don't get it. Like, ooh, that team. Let's see, who was the 5 people on the team? There's Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
What was the other 2? I can't think of the other 2. I can only think of those 3.
Yeah, now I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 definitely.
Okay, so Jimmy King was 4.
Smith, right? Smith, the guy that played with Houston. Was it Kenny Smith?
It wasn't Kenny Smith.
No, it wasn't Kenny Smith. No. All right, no. My fault. Not my fault. It was. You said Juwan. There was a guard. What was the guard that was there?
Well, again, I only know there's Jalen Rose.
Oh, right, Jalen Rose. All right,
Juwan, and then there's Juwan Howard.
Okay,
and there was Juwan Howard. Then there was Chris Webber. Someone put down Jimmy King.
Ray
Jackson. Okay,
yeah,
so those were the 5.
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah, Jake, that's what I hate. That's what I hated, Jay, that the NCAA merged all those conferences. I hated that.
Right. Yeah, that was a great documentary, Cab No Limit. That was a nice one. You know what I'm saying? Was it 30? I don't think it was it 30? Well, it was so long. It was like around 2017. I remember I was in DR in a hotel room and it happened to come on. I said, let me just watch it. I forgot, but you could find it. You'll be able to find it. It was a top tier documentary.
Wait, who was Smith? Okay, someone put down Jimmy King, Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
Juwan. I think he spelled it wrong. But it's Juwan Howard.
Juwan Howard, yeah.
And Chris Webber. I don't know who this Smith is. Someone put down Smith. So these Fab Five were all freshmen too, right? From what I understand.
They were a young team, so they were coming in. They were coming in as a freshman team. And, if they would have stayed together the second year, they probably would have won it. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who was another team that was like so damn close and they made it to the finals twice? Not a very well-known team. Butler.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
I don't remember. Now, how many years was the Fab Five in how many years they stayed? I forgot. But watch that documentary. Find that. That was an excellent documentary.
What's it called? The Fab Five documentary?
Yeah, you I don't know. I forgot.
I did see a 30 for 30 on them.
I think it was longer than 30 minutes though.
Yeah, because the 30 for 30, I remember Chris Webber said he had EPMD in the stands and they were watching.
2 years Webber left for the NBA after, so it was 2 years, yeah. Because back then they used to try to do 2 years in college, yeah. So it wasn't just 1 year. So yeah, they should have, But it's a one and done in the tournament. So anything can happen. March Madness. It's March Madness.
I know it is crazy.
Says Cab No Limit. ESPN Films. Yeah.
Steve Fisher didn't want to start 5 rookies, but the chemistry was undeniable. Oh, so they were 5 freshmen.
Yeah. All right, 5 freshmen.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I don't. UNLV, that is another team. Yeah, that was like in the 90s. They had a squad.
Mm-hmm. UNLV was always, during the '90s. That was they was always talked about UNLV. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. What was the scandal though that people were talking about? I know they had that guy that chewed on his towel. That's the coach. Was it Jerry Tarkanian?
Titanium, yeah.
Yeah, I only knew him. I only knew him as the guy that chewed on the towel. And then they had Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony, Stacey Augman, Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson ended up being the breakout star out of all of them. But they won one final. Oh, is that the scandal? Yikes. Okay, so they won one final, and I think that was against Duke. And then they went to the final again. Or I don't think they went to the final, but they went to the Final Four, and they lost against Duke. And Duke ended up winning the national. I don't know who they beat in the national. I don't know. Do you remember that? I don't remember it, but
I can't remember off the top of my head who won that. I mean, who they beat.
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know UNLV even was that, because it seemed like after that they were kind of irrelevant. Although they did have that guy, Isaiah Ryder, but that was only because Isaiah Ryder, he won that slam dunk contest with that East Bay funk dunk. Between the legs. You remember that, right?
Yeah. Oh, Larry Johnson. Yeah.
No. It was Isaiah Ryder. Oh yeah, Grandma. Yeah, no, it was Isaiah Ryder that was on that team, but he won the. And that's
he won the slam dunk contest. Yeah, I remember Isaiah Ryder won the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, because he did that first in well, he probably did in high school, but I saw the college one, and he did that, and then he did it in his rookie year in the NBA. Anderson Hunt, Greg, who's Butler, and the next year Elmore. I don't know Butler.
Nah, I don't.
Yeah, I remember Greg Anthony. What happened to Greg? Like, I guess he got his jaw broken, or his face, or his nose smashed, because he was always wearing a mask when he.
Well, he had to run with the Knicks, with the UN Knicks.
No. When he was in college, he always had to wear a mask. I don't know if he got his jaw broken or something. I always wondered why, but that's right. He was with the Knicks, and then he got replaced by Charlie Ward, right? Or was it Chris Childs?
Yeah, it was one of those. Charlie Ward or Chris Childs. They brought in Childs over for the Nets. Ah, man, it could have been over. I forgot that timeline, to be honest with you.
You're right. Now that I think about it, Ewing didn't really have a good number 2 option.
No, hell no, man.
You're absolutely right. If anything, he's probably one of the most underrated centers.
Yeah.
Because, Shaq, when they went to the finals the first time, he had a great number 2. Shoot, he had a number 3 with Dennis Scott as the 3-point man. And I think they even had Horace Grant.
Shaq and Kobe. I mean, like I said, but I gotta blame Ewing for getting hurt when he actually had.
When he had Larry Johnson.
He had him, but he got hurt, so he got to take a hit for that. But he missed
no, because Larry Johnson took him to the final. Yeah, he did take a hit, but still, Larry Johnson, he put that team on his back.
Yeah.
And even when he did get hurt, he still put him in the finals.
Right.
So number 2 had to turn into number 1.
Right.
Yeah, but at the end, you're right. He was old by then. Yeah, that's yeah, definitely. So at that point, then 2 became 1 and 1 became 2.
That he lost to Olajuwon, 2 centers, but the thing is, Starks was like 0 for 11 in that game for 3, so his number 2 guy killed him.
Ugh.
Like that's hard to win that,
Starks will have flashes of greatness, but then you understand why he's a role player.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang. How did they go so far without having a good number 2? Yeah, because I can't think of any other team that won a chip that didn't have like a good 1 and 2. Because you look at what is it, the 2000? What year was it that the Pistons beat the Lakers?
That's right. Oh, 04.
It was 04, right? Like, did they really did the Pistons really have a star player in the number 2 over there?
Oh, they had a great defensive system. I like their players. Though. I like their players. They had some. I like Rip Hamilton. He was a good player.
He was,
Very
but
good.
he wasn't really a star. But he showed up though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that team would be the only exception of not really having like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it's more defensive. Like you think of them as like the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL. You know what I mean? When Ray Lewis in the one, with Mike Billick as the coach. You know what I'm saying? Anomaly, not an offensive juggernaut, but their defense was special.
What do you mean Rockets didn't have a star? Oh, you know what? He's right. No, he's absolutely right. Rockets didn't. When the Rockets won the first title, they didn't have a
first one. When
they only had Olajuwon.
Yeah.
You could say Vernon Maxwell was good.
Yeah, and that's why I say that one kills Ewing's legacy because he lost mano a mano to Olajuwon.
Yes.
He didn't get slaughtered by Olajuwon, but they lost by 6, I believe, right in game 7. But Starks killed them. Starks, the number 2 guy, killed them. 0 for 11. You're not gonna win.
Yeah, no, Ken, I agree. Otis Thorpe was good, but he was a role player.
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson didn't play. He didn't play in the finals with the team and against. Come on.
Yeah, those are role players. They were good role players. Same thing with you. So you went, to be fair, but that was 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
Sam Cassell, man, that was a secret weapon. That guy
was a weapon, secret weapon. Yeah.
Him, Robert Horry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Billups did hit big shots. Yeah, you're right. That was the moment where Ewing should have gotten the title. That was, now the second one, Mario Ellie, another one.
All role
they
players.
Had some crazy
great role players. All great role players. They could get hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who did well, and they needed them to win, but it wasn't like having Drexler that second year. He had Drexler. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that was the number 2 at that point.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell did play huge. It was Cassell, Vernon Maxwell, Ellie. Crap, he had a good support system.
In hindsight, 2020, you know what I'm saying? But if you look at it, they weren't Clyde Drexler,
Yeah, so it said Mario Ellie's 3-point shot versus. No, what really hurt, what is it? Robert Horry with the Spurs when he hit that 3-point shot against the Pistons in the final. That was a freaking dagger.
Yeah.
John Stark's greatest moment was the dunk over Jordan. Was it a dunk? I know what he's talking about.
By him. He didn't really dunk on him, but he dunked by him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was by. Yeah, he went by him. Yeah. And then when he landed, he spun around he spun his body around in a 360. Starks, Carl Herrera. What? Carl Herrera.
I don't remember Carl Herrera. I remember, who was Carl?
I've heard the name Carl Herrera, but I don't know much about. I remember a long time you had someone on your panel, and he looked just like Charlie Villanova.
In 1986.
Oh, that's why I don't know him. I didn't watch the NBA at that time. I sort of did, but I didn't really understand it. Except the thing was, I would always, Lakers would always be on my TV, so I would always rock with the Lakers. Plus, I was living in LA, and I didn't know anything about the Clippers. except I didn't like their color scheme, and I thought their logo was stupid. So I was like, all right, Lakers is cool. But he was average. Okay, so that's why I didn't know much about Carl Herrera. I am trying to think when Barkley went to the Suns and he had a good season, but of course when John Paxton, was it John Paxton hit that? Hold on. Was it John Paxton or was it Steve Kerr that hit that buzzer beater that where
the first was Paxson. The second go around with Rodman was Kerr.
Okay, so it was Paxton. Okay. Barkley's son. Who was the second option? Who was the number 2 guy on the Barkley's Suns team?
I guess Kevin Johnson was the next, the guy that the point guard. He was,
Yes. Oh, I can't believe I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
KJ, yeah.
Say him, KJ.
And then the number 3 guy would be Dan Marley or
spot up shooter Dan Marley. Suited the original shooting it from the half court. And
then the number 4 guy was it Jeff Hornacek? Would he be the number 4 guy?
Was Hornacek on that team? Hornacek was on that team before he went to the Jazz, right? Was he there?
I think he was. I don't know. I forgot he went, bro. I forgot he went to the Jazz.
Yeah, so he could have been him there.
Yeah. The one thing I remember about the Suns, you ever played what is it, Celtics versus
Cedric Ceballos was there too. Cedric Ceballos.
Oh yeah. Ceballos. When he did that stupid little blindfold dunk and he won and he wasn't really blindfolded. Oh man. Was Tom Chambers on that team? Ooh. The one thing I did not like about Tom Chambers, I think it was either Bulls versus Celtics. It was one of those NBA games where if you use him, his character was like almost unstoppable. He could do this double pump dunk from, I guess, either from the free throw line or not from the free throw line, but like just inside the 3-point line. It was, I don't know if it was a glitch, but I hated it. It reminded me of Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tom Chambers had that same aura. And I was like, he's a good player, but he's not that damn good.
But Bo Jackson was unstoppable, right, on Tecmo Bowl, right?
Yeah, he was. You couldn't tackle the guy.
The cheat code. They built that in.
It was the ultimate. Yeah, from the baseline Chambers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot. Was it, hey, Ken, was it the Bulls versus Blazers or was it the Celtics versus Lakers? I forgot what game it was.
Paxton and BJ Armstrong.
Was it Bulls versus Blazers or was it Celtics versus Lakers? It was that's what the game was called before they started calling it NBA Live.
Yeah, they used to call it the teams. They used to have the teams. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh, it was Lakers versus Celtics. Okay, thanks. I thought so. Yeah, I know it wasn't Bulls versus Blazers. It just didn't sound right.
I think, well, one of them was Blazers versus Bulls. They did have a game called Blazers versus Bulls.
Right.
Have that, after they.
And that was the last time they actually named it a team after a team versus a team, right? Because then it became NBA Live was it NBA Live 92 or was it NBA Live 93 or NBA Live 94?
I think that was the last time. It was Blazers versus Bulls.
That was the last one, right?
Yeah.
And when did they played each other? When 92, 90? When did they play?
Was it 92?
It was 92.
Yeah.
Because I know, what is it? NBA. Oh, it was called NBA Showdown. So it was Bulls versus Blazers, and then they had NBA Showdown. And then it was NBA Live 95. Because I don't think there was an NBA Live 94.
Yeah, I remember NBA Live 95, and that's when they featured the Warriors. I remember Don Nelson. That's when they had Weber in them, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, but the character design was crappy, man. Well, at the time, we didn't think about it.
But during that time, that was like great graphics. You know what I mean? So I remember when I used to go inside the store, the game shop, and see and they used to be showing it in the window.
Yeah.
And then, my friend used to have it, and I used to go to his house after school and go to his apartment after school. I'm like, wow, this is great graphics for whatever time. It was great graphics.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know we're looking at it in hindsight, but yeah, at
Yeah,
the time it was
the way
great.
it was, the way the court was, you know what I'm saying? It would look, it was special. Yeah, it was special. It looked good.
And then when it first came out on the Dreamcast, that
Yeah.
was groundbreaking. That definitely was groundbreaking when it first came out on the Dreamcast. And then of course PlayStation. PlayStation 2 was, I don't know what happened. Like, I guess the anti-alias, I don't know, they call it anti-aliasing issue. I'm still trying to figure out what that means, but
Did you hear the story about PlayStation when they were supposed to be making Sony was supposed to be making a partnership? They were supposed to be with Nintendo.
right, it was going to be the Sony Nintendo.
Said they went behind their back, and Nintendo went behind their back and did something, and Sony just decided to make their own system, and that's why they got into the video gaming system making. They wasn't into.
That was crazy. Yeah, man. The console, what do they call it? The console wars.
Yeah, but Sony wasn't supposed. They were just supposed to be. They were hired by Nintendo to make a disc for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Sony Nintendo CD.
Yeah, but then they went behind their back before like a couple of days before they were supposed to have a showcase, and they went with another company, and then Sony felt a certain way, and they just say, you know what, bunk it, we're gonna do our own system. And
and they ended up getting I think they ended up getting exclusive deals with some of the companies that made games for Nintendo too. That was crazy.
Yeah, because it was cheaper to put them on the disc, and they were just like,
oh yeah,
and yeah. Tom was on Utah in '93. Jeff Hornacek was on the
Jazz
Suns. What you said, the Suns is. You said, I guess you talk about Jeff Hornacek. Yes, he was. I guess on Barkley's Suns.
I thought he was. Yeah. Okay, so Sony was supposed to be Nintendo, so instead they went their own way and destroyed all. Yeah, they did. But then Nintendo bounced back with their game. What is it? Their Game Boy Advance. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they had the Nintendo GameCube, but it wasn't big. But the Nintendo 64, I think, was big.
I like the GameCube. We had the GameCube. I used to love Mario Kart. We used to play Mario Kart all the time on GameCube. That was a nice game.
Mario Kart's, damn. That game will never, I don't care what anybody says, that game will never get old. It'll never.
Oh, and the first one was better than the second one. They came out with a second one, and it wasn't the Double Dash. Mario Kart Double Dash for GameCube was excellent. You know, the next one they didn't have. It wasn't the Double Dash when the two characters could be in a car. You could toggle through the both of them. But
yeah. I remember that one. True shock that Nintendo still stay. Yeah, well, Nintendo was able to stay relevant because, again, like their portable gaming was top. I don't know why. I thought the PSP was better, but that kept them in business. And then later on, when they made the Nintendo Wii, they made games for anybody to play. Like, they didn't have a true demographic for their video games. Like, anybody, like whether you were 2 years old or you were 70 years old, they found a way to entertain all ages. So I guess that's what made them, But then they made a Nintendo 3D, a Wii 3D or some crap in that, and I heard that sucked.
Yeah, it seemed like some people liked it because they could do like it is promoting. You could do like physical stuff with it, exercising, and they had that sensor where you can be physical with it. They was trying something,
Right, the original Wii, but then they tried to make something called the 3D Wii or something, and that just didn't work out. I forgot what it was called, Wii something. It might have been called the Wii U. Yeah,
I think it was something like that. Yeah, I didn't pay that no mind, actually.
Yeah. No, Nintendo's just they know how to adapt. That's why they're relevant. And then and Sega just isn't. You know, as much as I like Sega,
Sega
and I
was
like this,
Sega was quality. Sega was quality, definitely.
and I like the Sonic series.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the staying power.
Yeah, that's how it go. You know, Dreamcast. I had Dreamcast. I love Dreamcast. So I love Dreamcast. Great graphics.
Yeah, Dreamcast was a hit at the time.
Yeah.
I just don't know what happened to it. I guess the release just came at the wrong time. It came just right before the PlayStation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was just too close to the release of the PlayStation. I felt if they released it earlier, and then build on that success, and then build the next console, maybe they'd still be in business. But
yeah,
instead of being bought by Nintendo, I think Nintendo bought them, right? They bought Sega.
What happened? They went into partnerships where they were able to use their characters, right? And then they started licensing out their characters. Yeah, I don't know. I got to see the documentary on that. What actually happened? You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow! This I didn't know. This is new. I need to start looking at these documentaries. So I see that Dreamcast fell off when people found out that they could play copied games without mods.
Yeah, I do remember that because I used to buy those copied games. You know what I'm saying? For like $10.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
A big thing. Yes. I used to buy copies of the games for like $10-15. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could buy bootleg versions of the CDs of the discs for the Dreamcast. I do remember that vividly. They didn't work 100% all the time for some, but they worked most of the time. And for $10-15, I was on it. You know what I'm saying? I used to have the spot right on Ralph Avenue out here in Brooklyn. There was a spot right on Ralph and Ralph and Fulton.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know Dreamcast was like that. Now I know PlayStation, the first one. I did not own a PlayStation, but I had something called an emulator. And with an emulator, all you had to do is have a rewritable CD disc, like a rewritable they call it a CDRW, right?
Yeah.
So it's a hardware, and then what you can do is you make an exact copy of the PlayStation disc, but then you have a rewritable disc, and you write the program from the original disc into the rewritable disc, and then you play it. But you got to, and then when you play it, you got to run the emulator.
Right.
That I had very little errors when I played games like that, and so that's kind of similar to the Dreamcast, except you had to have an emulator to run the program. You remember the emulator, right?
Yeah, I remember. Emulator good.
Yeah. Okay.
HB Gone said it was harder to develop games overall on Dreamcast, so they probably I did hear about PlayStation. It was easier. That's why they surpassed Nintendo as far as developers going to develop games for and sign contracts to make games for PlayStation, because it was easier to produce the games. But I do remember you could copy the games, and I guess that chewed into the profits of Dreamcast also, because if you could buy copies of the games from bootleggers, so which I did, you know what I'm saying, that eats up eats to your profit and margins, and you already got competition from the other consoles.
So we are to blame a little bit. Actually, no, I wouldn't say a little bit. We are definitely to blame, but at the same time, though, they need to make the prices reasonable.
Yeah.
Because greed. See, that's what greed does. Greed will cause people to cut corners.
Yeah, just a third party now. They just make, they just license out their major titles there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power Stone 2 was the shit. I remember that game. You remember Power Stone 2?
What was that game? What was that game?
So if you're familiar with Super Smash Brothers, it's very similar to that game engine.
Okay. Okay, it's starting to come back to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember a game
very
like
similar to. I think it was the predecessor for Super Smash Brothers.
I played it, but it wasn't the characters wasn't known like that. It wasn't they weren't like the Mario Brothers characters.
No, nothing like
But
that.
the you played it similar to that. Now which one
You
came
played
out?
a similar game engine, but the characters were
Yeah,
nothing like them.
first, though was Smash Brothers first. I
No,
do remember another game. Yeah, so Power Stone was first, and they made all right. They made the Smash Brothers using those characters like the Power Stone.
no. Had no. So Smash Brothers had characters like Mario, Donkey Kong, Legend of the
Yeah,
Link character from Legend. Yeah, it's all these games, Metroid,
but
all that.
but they followed the way they play the game like Power Stone, right?
Yes, yeah. Similar engine. Yeah,
The characters they replaced the characters of Power Stone. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I remember something like that. That there was another game like the Smash Brothers that didn't use those popular characters.
yeah. Power Stone didn't really have popular characters because
Yeah.
I, honest to God, I can't remember who the characters are from that game. I can remember Smash Brothers, but I can't remember Power Stone characters.
Yeah,
Like,
had booklets of games. My Dreamcast don't even have what a real game was. Steam Deck or Stream Deck is coming. Stream Deck.
no, I think the Steam Deck.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, I forgot what a Steam Deck is. I gotta look that up. I know it came from like the Steam. They got something called a Steam account
Mm-hmm.
where you can, I guess, you buy games online. They got something called a Steam store.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, I did the bootleg Tim Howard and played Power Stone 2 all day on Dreamcast as Cab No Limit. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like I said, hey man, I used an emulator.
Knicks still got a chance as Apollo. Well, yeah, they do. They technically have a chance.
My homie still uses the emulator for his he doesn't have a PlayStation 5, but he uses the emulator for it. So he could get all like the PlayStation 5 games and stuff, but he's got to run the emulator and all that to play it. And then he uses it's kind of similar to like when people are trying to watch TV for free instead of wanting to buy Netflix. They call them like repositories. I forgot what it was called. I can't think of it. It's an app that you run. It's like a hack app.
Right.
Yeah. So he does that with like PlayStation 5, and then we can play PlayStation 5 games. But it is on a computer system though. I forgot what computer he uses. Right. But it's so many. It's a process though, just to play PlayStation 5 games.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm
No.
I'll break out of here on a wheel. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, man. No, I enjoyed
back
talking
live
sports.
Saturday. We'll be back live probably later on. It's tonight and then Sunday, of course, for the next Knicks game.
Yeah, we're rooting for the Knicks, man. They still have a chance. They got to win this game though. They cannot blow this game.
Yeah. They gotta win. Give the fans hope again.
Yes. If they win, I think the fans.
We'll see on Sunday, Desmond.
Yes, I think this will revitalize the fan or reinvigorate the fans if they win this game 3.
Yeah, they have some little hope, even if it's false hope. But you got to get one game at a time at this point. So
yeah, salute Cab No Limit. All right, man. You guys Yeah, all right, Chad. You have a good one. You have a good one, Raze.
Mid everybody in the chat. Apollo, everybody still here. Tim Howard, the mega moderator.
Yeah.
All right, all the way, salute.
All right, salute one.
All right. And that was Auto Will in the building. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Keep up the sports talk. Oh yeah, we will. We grow. We keep up the sports talk. You know, I like talking sports anyway. So you might as well talk it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? While I drink. You know what I mean? So yeah. And shout out to you guys for watching. It's been fun. Let's go Knicks on Sunday. HB going global. Holla holla. Salute. HB going global. Welcome back. We gonna we'll probably stream the game live on Sunday as it's happening, but I can't show it, of course. But we can talk about it as it's going down. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that on Sunday. Shout out to Tim Howard. Like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, shout out to Auto Will also. And everybody, man, for coming in. Knicks getting swept. Raze. I think they are, but I'm gonna root for them not to. Troll star. But I think they are getting swept, and I'm gonna root hard for them not to. You know what I'm saying? Gonna root hard for them not to be swept. I wanted to at least go to 6 games, because they've been fun games too. So I don't want it to end. So they have been fun games. They haven't been blowouts. They've been entertaining. I would love to see the Knicks see Tim Howard. See if you just don't like the Knicks, yeah, you don't mind them. You don't mind seeing the Knicks fans wallow in misery. The cocky Knicks fans, right, when they win it. So, yeah. Get out the brooms, says Desmond. Well, you'll see on Sunday. They go up 3-0, then that'll be it. But OKC with Curbstein. Yeah, I'm thinking that, but it's gonna be their first time, that group of OKC players in the finals, so they might get spooked in the finals on a big stage. Who knows? They would be the favorites, the heavy favorites, though. OKC against any teams that's left, the Knicks or the Pacers. They still got to get past Minnesota. We see if Minnesota can bounce back, and at home. See, that's the difference. See, Minnesota lost the first 2 games in a row, not at home. So they got 2 games at home. Knicks got 2 games in a row after losing both games at home. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, if I was going to bet on the series, I would bet on OKC. If I was going to bet on that series. Those young boys are hungry and got good chemistry. Yeah. And like I said, if I was going to bet with my own money, I would definitely go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Bet on OKC. Hey, it's my brother's birthday today. He loves your content. Could you please give him a full name shout out? He will love it. His name is Harry. I'm gonna just say Harry Boatsan. All right, Harry Boatsanya. All right, Harry Boatsanya. Harry, happy birthday, Harry Boatsanya. Happy birthday to you. Harry Boatsanya. Happy birthday to Harry Boatsanya. Hopefully you have many more down the road. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a Brooklyn Nets fan, Tim Howard, but you know what I'm saying? But I do go through moments where I do root for the Knicks pretty heavily. It's not like my hatred for the Yankees being a Mets fan, so it's different for me. Like I said, salute Harry. Happy birthday. At least have the pronunciation, LOL. Yeah. Hey. HBD Harry. I'm gonna just say that. We'll be back live sometime today. We'll be back live sometime today. I might be meeting up with somebody in another YouTuber that's going to be inside New York City today. So shout out to him. So you might see me live with him on his channel. I might go live on my channel with him. I don't know. We'll see. But definitely on his channel. I don't want to say who it is just in case. But remind me of Bart calling Mo's bar. Oh, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get me to do the Bart Simpson having calling Mo's bar Memorial Day weekend. All right, guys, I'm out of here, guys. Shout out to you guys. Thanks. Let's go Knicks.